welcome to the second day of our work session of 2024 budgets, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I always want to go into the 4-H pledge after I do that.
People sing the national anthem.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Okay, we left off there. Do we want to go ahead with the
Circuit Court election board. We just finished the election board, yeah. We didn't do the election board. We got a little bit left.
That would be
Then
paid.
we're gonna go into we're getting ready to start circuit court.
We're gonna finish the election board.
If we have,
That'd be page 13, election board.
Rachel's here today, so we can get some answers.
I think we had a couple of questions. We were all,
Rachel, front and center,
Yes.
please.
Sorry, I had to leave to get my kids off to bed.
13.
Okay, so I'm gonna borrow your station for a second.
come up in here.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so on the state statute, I did email the co-directors of the Indiana Election Division, and I'll just read the email of what he said. He said, Indiana Code 36516 provides that each county election board shall prepare annually a budget for submission to the county council, estimating the amounts of money necessary to be appropriated to conduct elections for the following year. And that state statute reads this word for word. Each county election board shall prepare annually a budget estimate itemizing its expenditures for the previous year and its estimates of the amount of money necessary to be appropriated for the next year. The board shall submit the budget estimate at the time and in the manner and form other county budget estimates are required to be filed. So that was the state statute on that. Now, so the county election board, we bring that amount to you guys and then you set that amount, whatever you see is fair.
So the board members, the pay for the board members is not statutorily required?
It's the county election board members, it's poll workers, and that's what absentee board, travel board, all those fit under that statute.
But I mean, the election board member and then the precinct board members, are those, can you tell us?
The election board members, that is Mary Kay, she's the Democrat, chairperson, and then Lynn Inman is the Republican. I am considered the secretary, so I fall in along those lines along with them with the election board. And then the precinct board members, that is my absentee board members, the ones that do the 28 days before the election for early voting.
Okay.
Travel board that do 14 days before the election also going out.
Okay, so they're actually working like early voting
Yes.
and all of this.
Yes.
So the precinct board members are doing that. And then the election board is just, it's the Democrat, the Republican, and
me.
yourself that meet throughout the year.
Yep.
On different things. So I can totally see why the precinct for sure gets paid because they're working a month of early voting. And the travel board because they're going around
And I know the election board, Mary Kay and Lynn, they do more than just what you guys see on, well, I guess you really don't see it on election day, but what they get per election, they earn that election day alone. I can't even, I could sit here for hours and tell you everything that they do. And what they get paid, they're definitely appreciative of, but we are, the other counties I've gotten with, I should have brought that, stopped at work and grabbed my election code, but didn't grab that. And we're not the lowest paid by no means, but we are way down there compared to other counties our size. So I feel what they get is definitely fair.
So is it 70, do you just get like the three of you 7,500 and then divide by?
Yeah, it's fine by three.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was
Yes,
different amounts
yes,
or
exactly.
if you were
amount all the
different
way
because you're
there.
the clerk and, okay, that's what I didn't understand.
At one time, I think there was 2,000 somewhere on night raised.
You guys did a pretty nice, very generous raise 2 years ago when we come to you guys, and that was much appreciative. I know, and I figured it up last night, and it is extremely hard for Mary Kay and Lynn. They get together and get the poll workers. It is extremely hard for them to find people that are willing to spend, it's at least a 14-hour day, but they get there at 5. They're on a simple election, they might be done and out of our office by 7:30. So they don't even make minimum wage at that point. So when you put it down like that, it's who's gonna do that? And that's why they struggle trying to find somebody to work.
Where does the poll workers, it falls in under the priest?
It is,
Is that something separate?
I gotta look at my book.
Okay.
Because we have several different
I'm
categories.
just curious where they fall in. Because they're paid as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absent voter.
Okay, yeah, that's why I had to look. Absent voter board members, that is considered my early voting absentee board,
Okay.
early voting board and travel board. And then the precinct board members, those are the poll workers.
Okay.
And that is my apology, because last year, well, no, it isn't, because we just didn't have a primary.
Right.
So we budgeted for way too much, but we were still expecting to have a primary, but we didn't. And I know the numbers went up quite a bit for next year. And I know I did put in for an extra team for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because it is gonna be a huge,
Is that the reason for the increase in the
Yes.
absent voter board member?
yes,
That's the reason for that $2,600 increase?
yes, 2 extra bipartisan. Because in 2020, we just were not expecting the rush that we got.
And next year being presidential election.
And next year being
it's gonna be-
presidential, yes.
Those are usually the biggest.
Oh, yeah. And like I said at the meeting, with the poll books, I don't really see, it's gonna be busy, but I think we're gonna be able to get people going through much faster with the poll books. I know the absentee board, they still have to do the mail-out ballots. Those will be astronomical again, I'm sure. So not only do they do the people coming in to vote personally, they have to get the ballots ready that our office sends out. And I think in 2020, we had, it was almost 5,000 voters that voted by mail.
That gives me a much better idea of what that is.
Yeah.
It's not just like a board that,
Yes, right.
what we normally think of as a board, that's, advisory board or
5,000
something.
people voted by mail?
It was horrible.
For real?
It was horrible.
It is.
I blocked a lot of it from my mind because it was so bad.
That's a pretty high percentage.
It was. And I fully expect that this time around too. But we're mentally prepared now.
A lot of people don't like to go to the polling places anymore because of the passing of literature.
Yeah.
Are you saying 5,000 voted by mail?
That's what she said.
In Perry County, in
That sounds
2020.
high.
That takes what process each one of those.
It might have been more like 4,500, but it was,
Still, that's a lot.
it was a lot.
That's almost a third, isn't it?
More people voted by mail than early voting. And then election day voting, I can't remember for sure, but I think it passed early voting on election day. Not by much though. I could be wrong, it could be the other way around, but
Now that I know what they do and that it's, some are required for a full month before, and I think that's something that's always been paid, and we can't expect somebody to work 8 hours a day for a month
no.
with nothing, so
Oh, no.
now I know what it is. I'm personally supportive of that.
Appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I appreciate the explanation, because I wondered what that was. And when you came in the other day, I just was
Yeah.
looking at the other budgets and not this one.
I don't get meals anymore. Meals. The meals.
We don't do the meals, we give them a $15 allowance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which, that's not much for, the kids have to do breakfast, lunch, and pretty much supper unless they decide to decide to wait to eat after it's all said and done.
So you could give up $45 per worker,
No.
$30,
15.
or 15.
They're only getting-
No, they get their, so what they get $20, okay, yeah, let me explain that. That goes in, the meals is the only thing that is separate. Under the precinct board members too, they get $20 for training services also. So they come for poll worker training, which we put on. We could have Microvote, we could pay Microvote to come in and do that. But the election board takes on that responsibility. It saves us $1,000. And so they get their $20 for their training. That is mandatory. They get the $15 for their meals. And then clerks and judges get $100 for the day and inspectors get $125. And that's where the whole minimum wage thing, inspectors make a little bit over minimum wage, but the clerks and judges do not, once they put in a full day.
Then you're saying we could do away with the publication $100.
I've never been charged, but I've also, every time I send the news my ballot, it's never in the paper. So I don't know what I think I got it finally figured out. I've discussed with Katie and I have the actual email that it needs to be sent to. So I probably will get charged this year, but and it wasn't in my budget for this year. I'll just take it out of office supplies or something like that. But
That's probably,
They probably should, they probably do charge. I mean,
I have
they
not-
charge Chris for
Yeah.
a lot of things.
and I have not been charged in 3 years, but I also, I don't look at the paper, but I don't think it's been in the paper. I've sent it, but whoever I'm sending it to is not putting it in there. But I think we got it all straightened out.
Pretty important. I would leave that. I don't want to have to take it out of our office supplies.
I don't know if $100 get it published stuff. What they charge for stuff in the paper.
I have no
I
idea.
guess I agree, $100 isn't enough.
I mean, we post stuff, on our office, out in front of for public tests and stuff like that too, or our county election board meetings. What do you normally get charged for your meetings and stuff that you post?
Nothing. Meetings, I don't get charged.
Okay.
Yeah, meetings
Just
should be,
additional
but this is,
appropriations.
this is
Like
a
a-
full ballot,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
it'll
just additional
might
appropriations
take up a
and,
lot of space.
yeah.
Yeah, but once again, it's public service.
I think, just my opinion, is we leave that with board members.
yeah.
I don't think that's fair. I mean, that's a little different than just a committee or something like that. They're actually having to work for a month and go out and travel and get these people.
The one big item on there is the voting system support. And,
Oh, yeah.
And that is my,
It's at the bottom.
contract agreement with Microvote. I have it wrote down exactly.
It's here. It's no ink.
Oh, I do. Oh,
Yeah, right.
I did. Okay. Yeah. The 2024 election service fees, yes, and that was 18,740. That consists of Microvote programming our machines, doing the public tests, updating our VD pads that now go out to just a certain amount of machines. Next year will be all. And that's why that amount is a little bit more than what it was yesterday, or last year. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch you. Because next year, by the 2024 general, we have to use every single VV pad with every single machine we have. And there's about 50 machines that go out, so 50 VV pads will go out as well. So they come in, they make sure everything's up to code on those. And the maintenance, the 4,330 was the maintenance fee agreement that was agreed upon a couple years ago for our poll books that were given to us by a federal grant. And the Ann Island contract for US Elections Live. And then the Cradle points for $660.
On the US Elections Live, does that save your office? I mean, I know what it does and I know what it is. Does that eliminate an employee or?
No, it's just
No.
put the results out.
It's just putting the results out there. It's for people to review the candidates before.
It doesn't eliminate an employee from having to work in
No.
that
You have
evening.
to have
No,
someone put that
'cause
up, though.
They came last year to help us because it was new and we had no clue how to do it. They're coming this year just to make sure we got it on a roll on our own, and then it's gonna be something that we will mandate on our own. And their hope is that they're at other counties more so than just ours,
What we
which
need is for you to justify why you want to keep it.
I wanna keep it because it's not just for my office, it's for, and Anjan did send, it's not just the candidates that view this to see results. Last year, for the last election, we have had 4,000 unique and active users and 88,000 events and community engagement that went on with, that people viewed on there for the US elections live. So it's not just the candidates, it's not just family members of those candidates to see results, it's everybody. It's posting that piece of paper that had the QR code, but people go in to vote, they can scan that QR code, and as soon as they leave, they don't have to turn on the TV. They can just, and they can sign up for notifications on their phone to get results anytime, say Telsey 1, 2, and 3 comes in. Well, if you want notifications, boom, you'll get notifications as soon as it's in the system.
I agree that it's a nice service. I think it's nice. I think it's nice what they put together. I just feel like, it's $4,000, and we do have some other options. Sometimes the results are on Facebook, the news is there. Sometimes they go live, sometimes they don't. And then if we could turn on the camera system, if we could save this $4,000 and put it towards something else, some of the other needs, or asks, then that's just where I stand on it. It's nothing against Sand Island, but I don't think it's a nice service. It's just, I think it's kind of more of a luxury than a need, more like a want than a need, especially when we have other options that we can utilize to see the results. People can come to the courthouse. They can get them the next day. They can get them on our YouTube Live. We can set something up to where we can have that there. So that's the only reason that I'm in support of cutting that.
And another thing with that too, is with the election results, even afterwards, it cuts down the amount of people that come to our office to request a copy of the elections, because they can just say, we can give them this website, go here. And we're even inputting previous election results. I know Allison's been working diligently on getting previous results in there. So, and I think we're back so far to 2019. So it's not, and that takes a lot off on me too, on people when even companies or the Republican Party or Democrat Party come and they need results for previous years. They can just go to that website. It's all I have to do. It does make our job a little bit easier. It is a luxury, absolutely is a luxury. But I don't know, just with the times that we are in now, I love it. They work above and beyond for our office. They are a local company. They are giving us a deal.
How many elections have we used this in now?
Just one. This will be the second.
Do you know how many other counties are participating?
One,
Yeah.
right now, they're going to Putnam County this fall. And then I know DuBois County, and I think Harrison, Posey. Yeah, Posey was another one. So there's a few more on. And I know there's still, I feel Fountain County is sticking out. There are several counties that are going to their budget to their budget hearings to try to get
To
this.
do this?
Yes.
I do know also with Ann Island, and I know that Randy was in on that meeting. I don't know if you were, but when we met with them, they're trying to get into more counties. They're kind of, in a sense, asking for our support with everything. And they have verbally stated, as we move on with them and support them, and as they grow, they want to give back to the county. So as they grow, and for thank of our support and with everything, they are going to basically, as they grow, give us a better deal, if that makes sense.
And they do donate to certain
Yes.
clubs within the county. I mean, they do a lot for this county. And
Yeah.
I was going to say something else too while you were
Sorry.
talking. No, and now I know what it was. I have actually, our Clerks Association is looking, their website designer or whatever is retiring, leaving, whatever. They haven't been happy with the website. So they were looking for someone to kind of step in if they knew of anybody. So yes, I did send them their information. They are in contact with them. And it could be where Ann Island is also the webmaster for the Indiana Clerks Association webpage too. They are amazing. I'm trying to help them out as much as I feasibly can.
Yeah,
And I just want,
hopefully they will grow and add new employees and, you know, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
You know, we've been wanting new industry and that, but you know, the IT is an industry, so.
I'm just trying to think of wants versus needs, because if we don't start doing that in this budget book, there's gonna be things, I mean, here's the reality of it. Is that 4,000 necessary here, or do we need it towards raises? Do we need it towards EMS? Do we need it towards deputies? Do we need it towards, I mean, we have to cut. So that's what the way we, you know, I feel we have to think. It's nice, but is it necessary? There are some things that I feel are very necessary in this budget book. And so if we don't look at things as wants versus needs, I'm afraid there's gonna be some things that are gonna be left behind. That's my only issue.
Understood.
But,
Completely understand.
I don't,
and I mean that throughout this book, not just Ann Island, not just this budget, you know.
I don't think you are going to receive the same from the courthouse as you would with this service. It's not the same. You're not getting the same
I agree.
thing. It's two totally different.
It won't be as, I don't think I think with this software, it's quicker and getting the information out there a lot quicker than having a deputy have to, that's actually doing multiple things, try and get it. So, and I know Ann Island is always gonna be there to help. I mean, you're gonna see their face at the elections and all that. They're gonna be there just like they were.
And they do sell ads also on there, so they do get sponsorships to help
And that
pay for
was-
that. So I'm just thinking if they perhaps could, you know, sell more ads or, you know, and help us out in certain, you know, I realize we say it's a deal, but we don't know what to compare it to, you know.
Right. And is
Don't
that
really-
something like my office can do also? Can we help them to like send out letters to get sponsorship? I know they took that on last year because it was such a last minute put together thing. But I mean, because that is something I am willing to do it for my office to help as well.
And they possibly, if you approach them, they may even cut you a better deal on this, I sure.
Well, and I'm not asking them to do it for free, but I mean, even if we cut this, they could still offer it here to say that Perry County offers it, you know, to try to show that we still have it and this is their hometown. I get that. I just worry about all the needs in this book, and I just don't see that as a need. So that's, I'm done on that. But it's up to everybody else. You know, there's 7 of us for a reason.
But this will be the second time that we've used this.
Yes.
Okay, there's still could be a few bugs or something to get worked out.
It went pretty smooth last
Yeah,
year.
it did.
Yeah, and it was, and we have it worked out too, to where with Microvote, Ann Island has worked with them to get, so what we're gonna try to do this year is as soon as and I always say Tell City 1, 2, and 3. As soon as Tell City 1, 2, and 3 results come in, Microvote processes it on his end that evening. We stick a thumb drive in, we can take that thumb drive, remove it, take it to our laptop, input those absentee results, or put those results up there, and it uploads it where we're not punching in the number for every single candidate. It will go so much faster this way. And absentee votes, they should be uploaded, ready to go as soon as 6 o'clock hits. Boom, those results are already in there.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do we want to do on this? Or I think the 15,600, that stays. 7,500, 13,750.
I want to make a motion to remove the $4,000 for U.S. election flag.
Need a second? Motion dies.
Can we see if they would
I just
make us
texted
a
them.
better deal?
I
This
just
is
texted
working on
them. Yeah.
We just have to start thinking what's necessary and what's not, and if we don't do that, it's not gonna,
Well, we still got, what, 380,000?
yeah.
I'm thinking of the big picture on that whole thing.
and, down the road, and, maybe, you know, make a little sacrifice here, and down the road, it will help us a lot.
How does it help? I mean, I know it helps because it's a convenience, but I mean, if people really want the results right now, they can go to the courthouse. It's open the day of voting to get the
That's
results.
not-
They can
that's
call,
not
they
it.
can look on Facebook, they can get the newspaper.
Do you
they
really
can-
want a lot of people calling in election day?
That's,
I mean, you don't want a lot of people
Not on election
calling.
day.
Oh.
They're not gonna be able to call on election day
I
because
mean-
it's closed. But I mean, they can come to the courthouse, they can get it in the newspaper, they can get it on Facebook, they can get it on our YouTube. If they want it, it's out there. So I just think there's a lot of
I
options,
look
but
at it
that's
down the road as supporting, and it's a nicely, you know, it's a nicely for the taxpayers of Perry County. But, and it is a perk, but I'm looking at an island growing, and that's my whole focus point is supporting that software company here in,
And then too, I mean, I can appreciate Kelly comment, we need to possibly
Yeah.
here, but this is the second time we're using, this technology is changing so fast
oh, I know.
that maybe next election, hey, maybe we can cut it back. or
Well, I
maybe not.
worked in IT, so I know
Yeah,
about
this
that,
is-
you know.
What's state of the art today is obsolete a year from now. I'll make a motion that we leave it in, for this election. And,
I just have one thing to say also, and like I said, I completely
Yeah.
understand where you're coming from,
I'm
absolutely
just
do.
thinking of,
Sure.
everybody wants
Absolutely.
raises, they want these other things. So if some of these things don't happen, we need to look at some of these
Absolutely.
decisions, so.
But I also, I'm giving up a person in my office, so the more I can do to where we can streamline out by email or by this website, and there's less people coming in, there's less people calling, it makes it a little bit easier on office since I am gonna be down one person.
I guess we can revisit again next year, so.
You gonna finish with your motion?
Do I?
You gonna finish your motion?
I make the motion, we approve it, the budget.
I'll second that motion.
Are you making a motion to leave the 4 in?
Yes,
The whole thing,
The whole
the
thing?
whole thing, yes.
You're seconding, so all those in favor of the motion to leave the budget as it is, signify by saying aye.
Nay.
Opposed? Nay. It's
And it's nay
six
because of that.
ayes, one nay. Next, we're going to circuit court. 19.
We may have
Did we actually vote on the
the whole budget.
Yes.
Yes,
this whole budget?
Yeah.
Okay. So I
But
say
it may be going to be changed, because Chris, I think, might be talking to Dan on that. Maybe not. She's talking on the phone.
You just approve the way it is.
Yeah, we can go back and change it.
Yeah, if we
We can
need.
change any budget.
we're gonna be going back on a lot of.
But if
Yeah.
somebody's watching live
Yeah.
and they say, well, it's not good.
Yeah.
I just think if we spend this much time on one item, we're never gonna get through.
Yeah, we got 3 days. We're going to 4th if we need to.
And again,
We have 387,000 to cut, not getting there very quick.
No,
Well, there's some areas where we can shift stuff around too.
what'd you say, Keith? I'm sorry.
There's some areas where we can shift stuff around.
We went, I guess, well, maybe we better wait till Chris comes back.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Kelly's good.
Oh, okay. Okay, first of all, I guess we would remove the longevity.
Who was this at?
Page 19,
Page 19.
circuit court, 60/50 there. What is the 5,000 elected official?
That's the additional pay for the judge.
And is that required? Is that state statute that we have to do that?
Yeah, I don't think so.
don't know.
I think at one time
She
we
did
did
draw
remove
2 checks a year.
back in.
She's paid by the state.
She is by the state.
You mean the county gives her an additional 5,000?
Yeah. That's total for the year.
Is that because state employees can get that? Is that what it is?
I think it's just something the county did at some point.
I agree, yes, it's
Council
just
did.
something they did.
Yeah, we took it out. We took it out at one time. I don't know how it got back in, maybe in the next budget session.
I think that with raises for other people.
Well,
Says that there's only
My-
2,500.
I don't know what it is.
Expenditure.
my question is it,
She draws 2 checks a year.
Chris, do you know if that's required?
Sorry, I
The
said that.
$5,000, elected official? Is that a requirement?
Do not know. Do you want me to make a phone call?
If you don't mind.
I don't believe it is. I think it's just an additional the county
It's an addition.
did.
But why would they do it for one state employee and not the other?
Sorry, I don't know.
Let me check, hold on, let me see if this one.
Because she asked for it. I would say if it's not required, I think we zero that out. She's getting paid state statute, just like the sheriff and others, so.
Yeah, I guess if it's not, my issue would be if it's not required, how can we do for one state paid employee and not, I guess prosecutor, deputy prosecutors, magistrate, aren't they all state? So it would just be I mean, nothing against judge, it's just that if we do for one, we should do for all that are the same. So what would that be for? Magistrate, judge, I mean, I'm not saying we can, I'm saying we probably can't, so
Yeah, that's
if we
not
can't
bad.
do 20,
Let's
we can't.
increase it.
If we can't do 20, we can't do 5, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Nobody's wanting to answer today.
That's,
They must all be busy.
I'd say let's take it out, and if it's state statute, she has to have it, then,
Yeah.
then we have to put it back in, but,
Okay.
Hey, can you, can you go over to, the court side and see if Lucy can give me a call on my cell phone? Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, Lisa's gonna go over there. I don't know if maybe her in court.
This is Wednesday, they have.
She's in court, so I bet they're in court.
Criminal court day.
Yeah.
They'll be tied up all morning.
well, if it's not required, then I would agree with you, Stan, that we remove it.
We could always go back and add it in.
Simply
after
for
she
the-
calls. Sure.
Simply for the issue of, if there's
Being fair
four
to
state
all.
paid employees, we probably need to give it to all of them or none of them.
And we don't
That's how
want,
I feel, it's just a fairness issue. If it's not required, if it's required, absolutely.
right. So we'll take it to zero and then we can revisit.
Okay,
If she's in court, she can still text me back. Can you
okay.
Text her.
Yeah, if you can, I didn't have Kim's cell phone number. Hi, please, please, please.
and we need to.
And the attorney here is the pauper, I think, right?
The 300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think we have some ideas about that, what we can do, maybe perhaps hire a full-time
In the past,
county paid pauper.
we've always, a lot of times cut this, and but
That's where
we had to come back.
Yeah,
and
but it's
Do additional
all the
appropriations,
additional
so
this
it's,
year.
it's not,
we got
doesn't work.
really smacked.
It doesn't.
At one point, we were talking.
Can you see where we're at with that? right
240,
now?
I think.
What we paid out?
Can't pull in if we can't get any financial right now.
Oh,
I messaged Donjan, we can't,
Request
if
more
we
if
could,
needed.
yeah.
We
Right.
have
Yeah, and
at the,
probably do the same
But it's
thing.
still there.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still
with
there.
the, setup or the population that's in the jail, that's gonna have to be
Okay, she
left
said
alone, I
that,
think.
judge
You
is
get
at a
to where you're
panel,
there,
but
right.
it is a state code.
Grab some money somewhere
What
else.
she said.
it's a state code that it's required or that you can.
That you can, I believe.
Okay.
I
If
don't
it's,
know anything
it's
about
not
it.
required.
It's not
I don't
required.
think it's.
You know, I went
Well, we
through
can
this
find it.
10 years ago, unless they've changed the statute.
I'd be in favor of removing it if it's not required, but if it's required, we have to, then.
I agree,
Same.
I agree.
Just simply because of the
Nothing
fairness.
against Lucy.
No, no, absolutely
It's
not.
only fair to the other state paid employees.
That's right, it's just a fairness thing.
It's just a lot of money.
You down on pauper attorneys where you're at, David?
Well,
300,
I assume the other per diem of 3,000,
Okay.
what is that?
The office supplies went up a bunch too.
I guess the per diem is,
Do you think the commissioners will be working on the pauper attorney situation? That
yeah,
will be hired?
there's some discussion of hiring a full-time, pauper attorney to work for the county potentially, like some other counties have that, they'll have a full-time pauper attorney and then they'll have another part-time pauper attorney. Just depends on your caseload and things, and then that way,
Still have a
I mean,
list.
that's a big
and you
ticket
still get
item.
reimbursed, up to 40%, and they would be a county paid employee, and if you paid them a decent wage, you could keep that under control a little better.
there's talk of that.
There's
We
talk
can-
of that, yeah, I don't
if
know,
we
I mean,
can-
there's some details to work out.
Yeah,
She just literally just texted.
Okay,
well, I mean,
so
other,
I'll just text Lucy.
if other
It's hard to
counties
call
are
them.
doing
No,
it, I
we can't.
mean, but
Okay, I'm
you just call them, see what the
It's
details
worked
are.
in the past.
But it's not worked out, so I wouldn't bank on
You
it,
can't hardly
yeah,
change it.
we're just reviewing
Right.
You know,
things.
if you want a true budget, you
Trying to
gotta
look
leave
at
it
other
in.
way- other
It
counties.
could happen, and maybe we could reduce,
Yeah,
just end up costing
Sure,
less.
but
at some
what I
point.
don't wanna do
Right
is
now,
under budget. and
we don't know that's gonna happen.
Right,
But with the caseload,
Oh,
Right,
that
But the
one guy
inmates,
can't
yeah.
handle it.
it's run, inmate population about double what it has been.
and sometimes
They
if it's
dropped
a higher
actually
level
to
case,
85.
they get multiple.
And
Lucy just said
But
she'll call when it's
the
over.
the criminals that's in there,
they're gonna be there for a while,
and you've got murder trials and
but we may have to
all
cut
that
back,
station and
cut
stuff.
back and take.
so what happened with I think someone mentioned the office supplies.
Thank you.
I don't know why.
So the
That's what
letter I
mentioned,
received
going up $3,000.
What'd you say?
regarding supplemental judge's salary, as required by IC 333856, counties that have adopted a supplemental salary for judges are required to quarterly remit payment to cover those supplemental salaries.
Did we do a supplemental salary?
That's what this is.
That's what this is.
But I mean,
So-
did you do
If we.
did you ever
the
adopt
counties do it.
anything, or was it just?
Oh, Lucy's here.
That's what they've
Hey, Lucy.
approved. That's what.
Sorry to bother you.
Can you send me that?
Are you good with me putting you on speakerphone?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Lucy, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The discussion right now, amongst the council is regarding the $5,000, official pay. I know we pulled up the Indiana code, which Kelly read, are we doing all the paperwork with this supplemental pay?
The supplemental pay for that 5,000?
Yep.
To my knowledge, I thought that the way that I understood it, unless it has changed, was that, that is something that the counties, could offer their judges. It's something that Perry County has offered since Everard. And as far as the paperwork, I always assumed that that came from the auditor's office so that it got paid to the state.
Okay. So that's included in the 4D?
She don't have a problem with us doing away with it.
Not that, I don't think it's included in 4D.
No, not yet.
Is it a requirement?
You get it from the state?
Or
Okay,
is
so
it-
we do.
No,
So yeah, so we do. Kelly said we do.
county pays.
We don't get it from the
And
state.
it goes to the state, that's part of my income.
Yeah, we pay it.
Yeah, I get the letter from the state saying if you're doing this, here's what you need to do, and here's the form you have to fill out.
But it's not what you're,
It's not required.
okay.
We can do away with it.
They're asking if, it's not required, can they do away with it?
So they're wanting to cut my pay by $5,000? Because that's considered part of my income.
That's considered part of our income.
But that's one of the things we're doing, is we're trying to come up with money to give her employees what she's asking also. So would she be willing to give up the $5,000?
You can't, that's our decision.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Lucy?
I didn't hear the question.
Oh. Keith asked if you would be willing to give that up for us to free up money to give to your employees.
I guess my question is, if I am willing to pay them out of the supplemental that adult supplemental fund, why would I have to give up part of my income? I guess the issue is that inflation's rising. There's money in that supplemental adult probation fund that I'm willing to use for salaries that I can use
But it
for
would be-
salaries.
There's a different fund. Okay.
So why, I guess my question is, why would they ask me to do that?
I have a
Whenever this county has been giving that $5,000 since ever, that I know of. I don't know of prior to that.
Hey, Lucy,
Yes.
this is Kelly. I just have a question. Is this something that state paid employees are offered, or is it just judges? Is it something that we should be considering also for the other state paid employees like Karen and prosecutor and the 2 deputy prosecutors?
Karen and Sam, I don't know about Sam. Okay, I know that you could give it to Karen.
Okay, you don't know if it goes outside of judges
I do
and
not.
magistrates?
That would be
Okay.
Sam.
Okay, that's the only thing I think, is there was a question if it's state paid employees, then we just need to be able to justify giving it to one and not all. That's the only thing. It's nothing against you or your office.
If it makes any difference, years ago, I asked for Karen and the council denied it. And so that's why it wasn't asked for again, because it was denied for Karen before.
Yeah. Okay,
And so, but I don't know of a judge who doesn't get that supplemental 5,000.
okay. I appreciate it. That's all I had, Lucy. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Can we go in?
I make a motion to leave it.
I don't think either.
Do we need a motion or just take it back
Let's
off?
put a bit, we've not voted.
I would like to have clarification if it's, all state paid employees. Well, okay, so how do you justify giving it to one and not the magistrate if she's qualifies too? I worry about that.
How far back in the budget can we go?
And
I'm
if
pretty
it's
sure we
allowable
took
for
that
the
out.
prosecutors, then we have 3 of those
And that was
also.
one.
Not something I'd be able to tell you right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish we would have asked her about her office supplies too.
This is my first, budget.
I can
so
ask
don't
Kim
know.
about the office supplies, and she's probably the one.
Cause that's more than double, went from 2 to 5.
So you wanting to put another 20,000 on?
I don't want to put, what I'm saying
I
is,
don't.
Hey, Kim,
if they all qualify for it and we can't give it to all, we can give it to none.
question
That's how I
regarding
feel.
the office
And
supply
it's not
increase
anything
from
against the
2,000 to
judge, absolutely
5,000.
yeah, I
nothing
think
against
we
her.
need a motion
And I think
to see
that should have
how
been considered in the
people.
past too.
Hold on
Huh?
one sec.
Motion to go to the rest.
Okay, look at what column?
I can't hear you.
Oh, no, the motion to get to the rest of it. I mean,
I can't help what past councils have done or haven't done if they thought it was a fairness
Oh, down at
issue
the
or
bottom,
not. but-
10,000.
This is a
To me,
new-
it's a
Okay, I
new
see
budget.
that.
Yeah.
Right there?
And I agree with Kelly, we need to be fair, whatever's supposed to be, whether it's more or not.
The-
You
where-
want to make a motion to leave it, take it out?
I mean,
Okay,
No, she wants to know if we should do it for everybody or.
and we really can't, is the truth of it. We can't.
Okay.
There's no.
can I
way
put
we
you on
could do it.
speaker? Can you say that? Yeah, hold on, sorry.
I'm just not.
Okay, here's the justification on the office supply increase. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, as you can see throughout the budget, there's a line item that went down almost $10,000.
She's talking about the law books that went from 1,750 to 10,000.
So by Lucy's approval, we took that difference and split it between other line items such as office supplies, I believe computer equipment, and a couple other line items. We added to those because our offices have went without updating equipment and furniture and stuff probably for at least 10 years, besides what the state or grant has given us to purchase. So she wanted to increase those so we could start replacing some stuff.
I see it in the office
That would be
supplies.
equipment.
I see it in office supplies, but I don't really see the rest. I mean,
I think computers are another one went up.
okay.
No, computer
No,
supplies,
computers
you still got
didn't.
a 300. Yeah, you only went up, you went up.
Computer equipment.
Mm-mm.
See, I'm at home getting ready to go to a funeral, so I don't have the budget in my hand.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look at it.
I don't see it.
Thank
So
you,
you'll see
Kim.
where I increased a couple different items, and that's the reason why, because we decreased that one, because we no longer have to have all of that. Most of it is now available
Digitized.
online.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for the information, Kim.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I don't see it, but
Well, see, the,
Where's
travel
Travel
went up 700.
Yeah.
Jury supplies went up a little
Lodging
bit.
and meals went up 500. I think she's saying she must have spread it to 500.
Spread, that's the way I took it, is that she just moved it around.
So they were using the 25, oh, it's actually 7,500 though. I don't see where she put 7,500.
No, we
No.
gained, she gave,
She didn't spread
we
it all.
gained a little bit, we gained a little bit there. We didn't use the whole 7,500. So, what do you got for total?
I mean, as of right now, all you guys have cut is longevity, am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's only a decrease of 60, 50.
when I read this, thing that you sent Kelly, judge's supplemental salary, I mean, I see, pull it back up. I still don't believe it's required. I think it's, if you're going to do that, you have to submit those reports.
Yes.
Is how I read this.
Yes.
So,
The lodging and meals have went up. We expended in 2022, $66 on the lodging and meal. So far, $560 for 23. So, I mean, there's areas we can go back to 2023 budget and plug them in.
Okay, so your total is, 708,399 at the bottom.
and wait,
708,399.
Put a asterisk by the attorney, we'll probably come back and visit that.
No,
so what are we gonna do with the 5,000? Is that taking it out? No.
no, it's still in there.
That's still in there.
Nobody's made a motion to take it out.
Well, it's a fairness issue for me. If we, I mean, even if it's just the judges, if the judge and the magistrate are allowed to get it, then we either do both of them or we do none of them. That's how I feel.
Has any of them
I
added
just,
that
it's
to the
nothing
budget?
against Lucy at all. It's just, I can't do that.
Is
Personally.
that, is that included on the other requests, like for the sheriff, that 5,000?
No, I think it's because there's statute that says, they can, the counties can supplement. They're state paid. The judges are state paid. So if the counties want to supplement and pay an additional, they can.
I'm pretty sure we took that out way back in the day.
The sheriff is paid. by
We were,
county.
our budget.
Yeah, the
was
sheriff's paid by
higher
county.
than
The
they are
sheriff's
now.
salary is set at half of,
Of a state salary.
Right.
It's,
but we have to pay it,
It's
the county.
confusing.
So now the issue would be is, should we be paying the sheriff half of this as well? That's another problem, because he's technically per state statute supposed to, I believe, get paid half of, is it the judge's salary?
Lucy just replied, tell them we can take more out of SAPs if they need us to, for office supplies.
Okay, so that would be helpful.
Mhm.
So we can drop that back down to 2 and then, oh, well, then,
Drop what down to?
we,
office supplies.
and then,
You take the other 3 out of SAP.
thank you, Lucy, if you're watching.
So we're gonna drop that to 2.
So these are 705,399.
Oh, we'll drop it to 3,000.
Even making those drops, they're still 121,000 over last year's budget.
So all we've dropped is longevity and the office supplies, is that right? I mean, I'd like to have a vote on that, 5,000,
Is that a motion?
sure. If
I'll
we
second.
can't offer it to both of them, I mean, does anybody want a motion to offer it to both of them?
Oh, you need to stand as seconded your first
I just
motion
second
unless
your
you're
motion.
withdrawing the first motion.
I didn't really make one,
She just don't do that. Okay.
but, I will make, I mean, can I make a motion to
Yeah.
either pay both of them or
You just need one
Well,
motion.
how we
It'll be
gonna
one
find
or the
out?
other.
Just one,
That's
What do
two
you-
motions there.
It's just
How we gonna find out if we,
I don't know what she's.
who state, I mean, who we
Well,
need to
it's
pay?
not a, she's just saying that if we pay Lucy, then we should also be paying Karen.
Karen.
That's your motion.
And if not, then don't pay Lucy.
You can't, you
No,
got-
I just
you
look
got
at it as the
double-edged
position,
sword
not the
there.
person.
That's-
It's just,
either one
it's
motion or
strictly
the
a
other. You
fairness
gotta
thing
make
in
a
my mind.
motion
It's
for
nothing
I
like
know, I'm
this.
just saying that's what she's
I
saying.
know.
And I don't know how past councils
She's got to
justify
decide what
Yeah,
her
yeah.
motion is, yeah.
Yeah, cause she said she asked for it before, but it was denied for Karen.
Right, so I don't even know how that would be justified for one and not the other. I just don't
Well,
like
it's just
that.
a decision they made at the time, the council, I guess. I mean, they
Well,
can,
there was only one judge when they originally established it. And then when the second judge come on board, apparently there was a motion that was, or a budget request that got denied for the second judge.
which,
So do we want to, does somebody want to make a motion to add $5,000 for the other judge? Or do we want to make a motion to eliminate this 5,000, or do we want to vote on the bottom line? I'll make a motion of the $7,705,399 budget.
I'll make a motion if we can,
Which
oh, go
includes,
ahead.
which includes
Sorry,
the
you already have one.
5,000 for the judge.
Correct.
And you're cutting office supplies back to 2. And
Yep, that's
then-
just, with that 705,399, you're cutting longevity and moving office supplies back to 2,000.
You made a motion. I'll second it, but we're gonna have to come back and cut attorney fees, attorney back.
What you've said,
We
what is the
shouldn't be
motion?
cutting
We
proper
can't,
fees
we can't
when
cut
we
attorney fees.
absolutely need them.
Well, I know we need it.
I mean, we're gonna have to have it.
But in the past, you set off for attorney fees at X amount of dollars and had them come back and request more as needed.
And if you don't plan for the 200,000 or 300,000
I know-
extra,
I
then
know.
what? We're just
In
taking out of
order to
reserve.
come
That
in-
is not good
In
budgeting.
order to
David,
come to
what
a
was
levy,
the
we may have
motion?
to, we may have to. but-
Yeah, but
Do you know what the
that's
motion
like
was?
autopsy.
I don't.
We're just-
No, wait,
Might as well.
Paul made a motion,
No, he made.
I made the
Keith
motion.
made a motion,
I second
and Paul seconded to
it.
approve the amount of 705,399.
So basically, you're just taking out the longevity
and
and,
3,000 office
Okay.
equipment.
so a motion by Keith to keep it the same
And second
besides
by
those two
Paul.
items.
All of them, favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Nay.
Nay,
Opposed?
nay.
Aye, nay. 4-3,
Would you vote?
I vote nay.
So 708 of 99.
We'll be back.
705.
Well,
4-3.
And I just want to reiterate that it's a nay because it's
Right,
strictly a fairness issue.
We're not gonna take a look at, for Karen, is that,
There's not in the budget.
I mean, you'd
And
have to
nobody
add,
made a motion
No,
to,
we're not
give
gonna
her-
add to the budget.
Have them requested next year.
you can always go back and add her, but
yeah, you could always gift her
Can, but have them requested.
if we're trying to,
cut money.
okay, I guess we're going to
what was it, 705?
EMA.
705,399. Which one is that?
EMA,
20.
page 20.
Okay, so Steve came in this morning.
I have
And asked me if, he found out yesterday that, Derby, is requesting EMA to pick up the utility expenses for the, tower in Derby. He just found this out yesterday. So the utilities, which he had originally requested for 4,000, would need to go up to 4,750. He's asking if he can go ahead and add that on now, or will he need to do an additional appropriation? I said, we haven't done yours yet. I feel like we can go ahead and increase the request to $4,750.
Okay, what happened why did it go to the 4,000? What's in there?
It's a significant increase, yeah.
He
has-
said SIP Troy Township Department site is 2,160. Tell City Electric North Ridge departments are I think it's receptor. I don't think it's department. Now I said that. Tell City Electric is 750. Is it Ohio Valley Gas? 180. And then SIP in Bristow and Rocky Point is 910. So that's where the 4,000 comes from. And the Derby siren is is added to the 750.
So we have added,
God, that seems like a lot of money for just that siren side.
I'll go get him.
So,
have we added,
Huh?
how did we get to the,
The,
have we added new ones?
the Northridge side is fairly new.
How about putting in Bristol?
Derby is, I don't understand, $750 just for a siren site. That seems like a lot of money.
Whenever they had that dedication for the boat ramp, you know, he brought that up. And so I guess they've been paying that as a Derby.
Community
Yeah.
association.
And he said, do other sites, you don't have to pay their own.
I read that.
No, there it is. And anyway, so didn't think so.
All right, here we go. So you wanna explain the increase? I told them the
Steve, on
numbers there.
the Northridge Road, does the, you pay all the utilities?
The commissioners were paying those. We've moved them into our budget.
Okay,
Just for, that's where.
That's
we've moved
why,
them.
that's what I
why
want to
it's
hear.
moving.
Okay,
Yes.
there we go.
Okay.
Those were under the commissioners.
But nobody else that's using, of course, I don't know, the only other one using that
In the
side
past, they
is
were there.
Tell City Water.
I
That's
guess.
correct, yes.
And they don't, basically,
They don't, because we're doing a trade-off on one of our other sites.
Okay, I thought so.
Right. Yes.
Just
So
clarifying.
we basically moved those from the commissioner's budget to the EMA budget. Just kind of streamlined it was easier to keep track of them that way. That's why the increase from 1,500 to the 4,000. While we were at the ribbon cutting for the Derby boat ramp, we was approached by Michael Simon asking if the county would pick up the expense on the weather siren
I told you
located
not
there
to
at
go
Derby.
with that.
They had been paying that, and he said it was approximately 750.
That seems high.
It's close to what we're paying at the North Ridge, but that is through Southern Indiana Power there at Derby, so maybe a little difference in rates. That's what he asked. I didn't know if it was too late at that time because we'd already submitted our budget. So I was asking whether it's too late to add it now or whether we need to come back next year with an additional for that.
I don't see it. I didn't either. I didn't see
Where
it.
was that listed in the commissioner's budget in the past?
I don't see
Just
it.
under utilities.
Oh,
They were just paying under the general courthouse utilities, yes. This would enable us to account for those expenses better to see at each site.
Yeah, if we're paying
Makes
for the
sense.
others, we should be paying for Derby's too.
And how long have they been paying their own?
It's on there.
At Derby, for a couple of years now, yes. That's one of the newer
oh,
sirens.
that's not good.
It was installed prior to the one at Rocky Point.
That's what I think.
It's been a few years. They've been paying it.
It's on page 18.
It's only fair that we pick theirs up too.
Sure.
Okay, I do have a question about the tires, going
Okay.
from 700 to 7,500.
Yes.
When we were out here, David, Randy, and I were out here, and you gave us the tour, you had mentioned that several things have dry rotted tires and they need to be replaced. My issue is if the tires are dry rotting and we just want to put new tire, I mean, if the things aren't being used, do we need to replace the tires again? Because they're just going to dry rot again. I mean, I don't know.
What would we do with the equipment? If we can't
Well, my
utilize
question is, do we need the equipment?
those, I hope that we never need a piece of equipment. It's like an insurance policy. Those are used for the big time emergencies and disasters. I would like to say, I hope we never use them. Unfortunately, we've seen in the past, we will need those pieces of equipment. We've used them at Tobin Sport, we've used them, we've had to take them to Ward County, a tornado that hit. So unfortunately, I
Like,
can't
like
tell
the
you when.
camper, the EMA command camper, and then there's another one. I think you had said that it's been used at Schweitzer Fest once, there as a mobile.
Several
command.
years, we used it at the Schweitzer Fest. We used it at a command post twice at Derby, or not at Derby, but at Troy.
Troy
When
one
we had
time
the
for
triple
the,
drowning down there.
I used it at Troy when, we had to fight, for the family to stay in,
That's correct.
when the fella fell.
So it's just strictly the lack of consistent use is causing the dry rot and.
No, it's just age.
To tires.
It's just tires will dry whether you use it
It's
or
not having
not.
nothing to do with use. It's,
Yeah, Steve, is that something that we could kind of get on a rotation, so we weren't doing all of it at the same time?
Yes, yes, it is.
You know, that way each year it would be a little bit, but not such a big
It's hard to
amount.
get on a rotation.
Yeah, my gosh, how many years old are those tires?
Those are, a lot of those are the original tires from when we got the equipment. So we buy tires now, they're gonna be good for many, many more years. Yes.
And like you said, you hope you never use them, but.
How were the tires for the 5-ton truck purchased? They're new tires.
Those are the tires that's on it, yes.
With the stickers, the new stickers on them? I saw stickers on the outside of them that looked like they were brand new.
No, they're not brand new tires, no. Those are the tires that was on it when we got it from the fire control headquarters at Martinsville. We've not replaced any tires on there.
They must have put new tires on it.
Tire shine,
You look on the side of any tire, you'll have the date of manufacturer, the month and the year, all the numbers, they all signify something.
yes.
Yeah,
The tires all have dates on
Yeah,
it.
they'll tell you the month and the year they were manufactured.
so when were the big tires manufactured?
Do what?
I said, when were they?
Well, you're not asking for those, though. I mean,
Probably
the ones that are
20
on
years ago.
Big Red or whatever that is
No, no.
out there.
It's a lot of every required tire, so it's gonna have a better side.
Yeah.
Well, I would just ask that we do get them on a rotation schedule so that we don't have all that at once.
Yes.
And
It's hard to really, when you got the equipment, when you got things, that many things bad, it's hard to get them on a rotation.
Yeah.
Unless you gamble and,
I'll be glad to look at that though.
I think we can do it.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, look at the ones that are the oldest and start with
Yeah.
those, and
Yeah.
that way we do some of
That's,
each
that's
year.
responsible.
Look at a schedule down the road and
Yeah.
start replacing a few, yes.
I appreciate this, what you gave us. That's helpful. So the 911 coordinator, we don't know what's gonna happen with that. We don't know
We do.
what the commissioners brought it up last night, mentioned your resignation from that. And they were going to start looking into what needs to happen with that.
Looking
Is
at
it-
their options.
Right,
Yes.
so we should probably leave that money just in case, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Correct.
So. Training and education, you said. What's the cell phones? The county's no longer paying for cell phones?
We pay for our own.
Okay,
We pay for
so
our
they
own
used to
cell
pay
phones.
for them and they don't anymore?
Yeah, years ago, the county did.
Okay,
We were paying for our own cell phones. The only thing now would be the routers.
and that's what the
That's
1,400 is under mobile phone.
correct.
Should we change that category to just say routers or something, so people don't think some are getting paid mobile phones and some aren't? I mean, I think we should call it what it is and not,
then you could put a,
Each router actually has a cell phone number attached. That's just the way the billing is. But they are routers. You cannot make phone calls with them.
how many of them do we have?
We have 3. 1 Verizon and 2 FirstNets.
Okay.
Yes,
And they're in your vehicle?
just the one in my vehicle, yes. One is actually here and one is located, right now it's currently at the SO. We rotate it back and forth as the need arises there. But because we had the FirstNet plan, it was cheaper for us to do it under our plan
You say it's here, it's in the office or it's in a truck?
in the office. Yes.
so the lease of equipment. You said that you delete from the budget 10,000, but it's still here.
That was after the budget was submitted. I'm asking that you deleted it this time.
Take this 10,000 out.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
correct. Yes.
thank you.
Budget was already submitted at
That's
that
okay.
point. so.
All right.
That helps.
So that was-
I feel like we can't justify that cost
Yeah,
because law enforcement has moved to 800. We can't justify the cost of the 10,000 this time.
and I agree that if we're paying for the utilities at all the other places, we can't exclude Derby. Again, it's a fairness issue.
Right.
That's not right to ask them to do it, nobody else. So,
I mean, it's kind of a, acting deal. If they say, well, if you're not gonna pay for it, we'll just have it turned off. You won't have a siren,
and I appreciate that they
And I
have
know they
paid.
would.
They have paid it, yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve, appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
I guess there's really,
So we're gonna increase utilities by $750. Decrease the lease equipment $10,000. Remove the
Longevity.
longevity of $2,000.
Which one are we decreasing?
The,
the lease of
lease of
equipment.
equipment to $10,000.
Oh, okay.
You're removing it all together.
Right. Yeah, because he said to. so-
Yeah, it was on here, but
Yeah,
it's still in
yeah,
here,
right.
so,
He had removed it on,
on his
There.
paperwork, yeah.
Well, do we want to,
We need to.
do we gonna allow him to buy all them tires, or we gonna?
Well,
Yeah, you don't
when
have
he
to.
was
You don't have
talking, he was gonna check on the old, see which were the older and try to replace some of them this year, so it
We
wouldn't be
could pay-
7,500.
reduce it maybe.
Yeah, we could reduce it.
Two-thirds.
Right.
Either allow it, and if you don't use it, it'll carry over next year.
If you
No,
allow
that's
it,
not-
they'll use it.
That's not helping us,
You've
that's
got
not
the whole
helping us get
schedule
to
here
our
with the
bottom line,
pay.
that's all. So I think we need to
We need to
reduce
probably
it a
cut
little
it
bit.
back,
Five.
either,
Yeah, but I think we bring it down to five. Five will buy a lot of trailer tires.
And then if it needs more, you can come back for more.
Yeah.
There's 9 sets of tires here on this list, but he says it's actually more than 9. I thought he said it was 10, but
of course, there's different prices, but
Yeah.
that gives you an idea if you reduce.
If you went
he said 10
five, that would
10
give him
pieces of
still room to
equipment
work
are
and
outdated.
get tires.
Sure.
I
I
don't
think we,
know how many tires are on each.
yeah, camper's got 4 tires on it. Yeah.
Let's take it down to 5,000. Is that all right?
You can always come back.
Some of them are just, trailers, so it's, he could figure out.
Well, he might have duplicates of stuff too.
So remove that down, or take that down to,
Five.
okay.
I don't see anything else much in here, do
Okay, I'll add these up for you.
We don't really know what's gonna happen with the coordinator.
we? No, you almost have to
An
leave it
office
there.
takes it over, or some, if they have a different
Yeah, we
idea. I'm
gotta
not
leave
sure.
that in there. because-
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Have to have one. There's no-
They'll figure it out by the end of the
Guys get
year. What I'm saying is, we may end up spending less, depending on what they wanna do, or more, I guess. Hopefully not more.
Shut.
I didn't get anything that time.
Fingers aren't working today. One five one nine ten. 151910.
One. What'd you say?
151,910. You got it.
Motion. Motion on the, 151,910. EMA.
I'll make a motion to, as 151 total.
Motion or second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Keith, second by Gail, all of the EMA budget to bring it to 151,910, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay, nay, two nays, 7-0. Wow.
John Wayne will be coming in a minute.
Also calling.
Okay,
Does that mean you like that budget?
Your approval.
next we move on to the jail.
Longevity's a big.
I guess remove the 4,100 longevity.
Medical supplies.
Medical supply, I think it's all.
But they haven't used much.
Now this one, I wanna look where the meals are coming out of, but we're on a trend here that it's usually over $100,000 a year with our current, the last couple of years, what I've looked is we've spent over $100,000 and this is only requesting 65, but I do believe
There is another 30.
is it
somewhere
25 or we need to find that other because,
Where was that at?
let me look, it might be an inmate housing.
No,
I just wanna make sure we're not way under budgeting where we just have to keep coming back for additional appropriation. I mean, we can do that, you have to pay it, but
Well, it's nice to be able to be close.
I'd like to be closer.
You
I
know,
think-
going into the year that you're way under budget, it's crazy.
I know it's budgeted somewhere else also, I'll have to
I
find it.
still,
That
I
might
know we
be-
had our,
Not lit.
it's not lit.
38, page 38 maybe. You sure? Not lit under jail?
I didn't see it there.
Meals is under jail operations, page 61.
Okay, thank you. I know I saw it somewhere else. How much is it?
25,000 is what they're requesting.
So that's 90, I mean, we're for sure gonna be under. I mean, either we fix it now or fix it in additional appropriations later, but
I wonder why it's because they were, unless there's a reason for it being more this year, and I don't know what that would be.
I mean, last year they budgeted what, 65, and then they've already came back for 40 and probably will need another 15. So that's much more realistic.
I don't know why they'd be,
Well, one thing it should help is
I mean, if we
if
keep
they
the
get
same
the
average inmates.
cases, if they get the caseload, which the prosecutor's office is working on, and the court system's working on, jail population drops, the meal usage will drop.
But we're still bringing in the Vanderbilt County inmates. You know, if that drops, I would think that they
How
would
is
allow
you said
more.
$35 for charge to Vanderbilt County?
They
That's what
pay us.
So how is that set? You know, is that something that
I think,
Perry County could raise?
I think we could renegotiate if we want to. Some places charge more.
Mhm.
It would just have to be a negotiation
If you
between the two. And I
recall-
agree with you because it's been set at 35 for many years and our costs have went up. Everything has significantly went up. Wages, utilities, food,
Well,
staff,
it was
all
stated,
kinds of things. And we should be
especially
relooking.
in the last 2 years.
it
I
was
think if we're
stated
gonna do
at
this and continue, we
at
should be
the
relooking
budget
at that.
hearings that, it cost $27 per prisoner, 27 and some change per prisoner is what Ron calculated. Well, it was $8. Is it really worth the $8? I mean, I know we're helping Vanderbilt County out, you wanna help your neighbors out, but $8
Vanderbilt County's probably got a lot more money available than we do, though, you know.
for, 24-hour coverage for $8.
Well, if it's been at $35 for several years, I think we can ask the sheriff to renegotiate and try to bring that up.
I think it'd be a
And that's
good
not
idea.
unreasonable because everything has raised,
Yeah,
so
I mean, it would
That's how-
offset
that's
some,
how I feel about
you
it.
know,
It's all raising.
we
So
don't have a
65
choice.
is reasonable there then.
I think it needs to be more, really. If we're only budgeting
I don't
90,
think we need to raise it.
well, the problem is we can do that. We can say we're not gonna need it, but we know we're gonna need it. So then we're just tapping into reserves next year. So it's totally up to,
Can
What
they
you wanna
take the
do?
extra out of, inmate housing?
we can ask that.
Well, you know,
That
instead of going back to the general appropriation, I mean, we can actually do that. So if we leave it at, it's 90,000.
I just don't like to be on
probably.
under on things that we absolutely
No.
know that's not gonna be the case, because this year we've did the 65, the 40, and he said at least another 15 he expects by the end of the year. you know,
Right.
We're trying to.
That's
cut the
realistic.
budget.
I think
we can cut, but you have to pay for meals.
We need
I
to
mean,
hope that the case. will go through.
This is not cut, this is just what they're
I
asking.
wonder what his plans are, why he said it like that. Why he didn't set it higher.
Do you want me to call Eric?
Been heard.
I mean, I just wanna be realistic. I mean,
I think it would be nice if you ask Eric.
we can
if
say
he
it's 10.
Could
and it's not.
come here
Yeah.
rather than, there's too many questions. I
We
think.
talked about
Talk
that or
with
not,
him.
what did they say?
That they
He's
just put it
supposed
the
to be
same as what,
available.
you know, what it was, I think is what was
Oh,
discussed.
it's the same as last year.
Yeah, which,
Could take a little bit of a
and
break.
the
Precious.
prosecutor was there and said our cases are not,
Are you able to come up here? They've got
We're gonna
several
go.
questions.
so.
Thank you. All right,
I hate
bye-bye.
when you have
We're
to come all the
gonna
way out
jump
here.
over, we're gonna hold off on Eric. Take a little,
You want to take a 5-minute break or 2-minute break?
Okay.
sure.
I don't know why he has to come out here. I mean, it's just right here in black and white.
Yeah.
I had my bread already this morning.
Okay, I guess we're live again
This really good.
after a little break.
All right, Eric's here.
What do we have for Eric?
The meal.
Come on up
The
here,
meal.
Eric and Ron. Right here.
We got stand.
No, you can sit, don't squat. Pull you up a seat.
Throw rocks at me.
Candy bars, maybe.
I'll take those.
We don't have no rocks.
Here, catch.
All right. I can't remember the question you guys
We
are
were
asking.
talking about the meals,
The medical supplies
the
also.
medical supplies.
Yeah.
It went from 300 to 1,000. What is that for?
That, on your medical supplies, that's all probably gonna be covering things that is used by the jail staff and not the QCC, more than likely. I mean, because you're not gonna cover everything through the contract on medical. Start talking about different supplies and it could be some,
The only reason I'm asking is, it shows what you spent this year as of June, so like half the year. And it says $130, but the increase in budget is from 300 to 1,000 to ask. So just curious, I mean, you're about almost on track for this year to be at the 300. I was just curious if there was something that you were really needing or that it would go up that significantly.
I really can't answer that one for you because I'm sure it was probably something that was asked of maybe Cheryl Hauser to say, what do you think we're gonna need? And I'm sure it's things that are like the medical gloves and different things like that for officers to be utilized, I think.
And I think what Miss Jane has probably done, our matron, she's probably waiting towards the end of the year to be able to pay some of the bills from the consumables out of the budget. And in the meantime, those bills have been paid out of the commissary. So it will likely be zeroed out before the end of the year.
Well, I can still get on board with the 300, but it's 3 times that, so
I think she was
more than.
trying to alleviate some of the burden of the commissary with the consumables, because anything that the contract doesn't pay for, we have to pay for, and there's a lot of inmates.
So is the commissary funds, are those all being used for something else? Is that why you're trying to relieve it? I mean, what's causing that to go up?
When we approached Ms. Jane about certain bills that are being paid out of there that are reoccurring and that the budget doesn't cover, we try to add just a little to offset it. So there must be a whole bunch of reoccurring bills that are happening, and we're trying to just add towards being able to pay some of the bills from the general fund instead of the commissary.
I would be
I
okay
mean,
with.
we can turn
I
around
mean,
and
can
reduce
we-
it. We can
can
reduce
we-
it, then we might have to come back later and say we gotta take it out of commissary.
Well, since we don't have specifics on what the need is, I think it would be best if we just bring it back to the 300. And then if there is something that's significant that you don't have money for, we can look at that next year. But since there's not something specific right now that we know about, I would prefer to do that if that's okay. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Just cut it back down to the 300. We're not really cutting you from what you've had last year.
Sure.
And I looked at the year before and it's 81, so we'll see where that goes. If that's okay with everybody to bring that down to 300.
Okay, now, I think we were questioning the meals.
Yeah, I think we briefly talked about this during the budget hearing. The meals, the jail, there's 25,000 and then there's 65,000.
Now,
budgeted here.
you got another 13,000 from the misdemeanor money that will go in towards meals when we get it in August.
Okay,
We'll use that, which will take a little bit more than one of the months,
So that
So-
does bring you back to about 115 then.
103 with
it's
the
103, we
13.
still have a.
And then what we usually do is then come back towards the end of the year. If we have to ask for more, we try to take it out of the housing fund, so it doesn't have to pull from the
Well,
jail.
that's what we were wondering. Do we need to put 10,000 in the inmate housing just to have, or just do an additional? I mean, what I don't want to do is the inmate housing be all used up and we don't have any cushion there to get another 10 or 15 if we
The
need it.
problem with the meal figuring is, right, you gotta figure out what you got right now, but if we could get some trials done and get some of these long-term inmates out there, we get down in maybe the high 70s or the mid 70s, mark, on our population, that meal cost is gonna come down $10,000-$15,000 maybe,
Right.
you know,
And
which
the other,
we would have, what we got 103 would be pretty darn close to having, what we need.
sure. The other thing that we asked, when we were looking at the budget is, the inmate housing is currently at $35. Is there any way to renegotiate that to a little bit higher rate? Because all of our costs over these years have went up and up and up, and we're just getting the
I
squeeze.
don't know on the statutes on that and what.
Okay, can we research it to see if
I can look
potentially we
into
can
it.
negotiate a higher rate? Because
I would be more concerned if we turn around and say, we're gonna start charging you 40, that they're gonna say, we'll find somebody else, and then we lose $50,000 worth of money coming in over $5 or $6 going out.
But really, if the inmate costs $27 and we're only getting 35, that difference is really the only thing we're getting to offset the budget.
Yes.
So if we can get it up $5, that would really help, or whatever you can
You
get.
can look, I just don't know where that, I know the $35 is what they, like the Sheriff's Association and the state turns around and says, this is what per diem is across the state for counties.
So is that
It's
not-
not really true.
Per
That's not
diem
really
for
true.
what the state will pay if we have a.
Every county's per diem is gonna be different, just like the
Right,
state.
I looked
Corrections
at
per diem is
reports.
different.
But when is that from, that per diem that you're talking about? Has that not changed in the last couple of years?
It stays pretty consistent since I've been there, it stays pretty consistent
But that's
between
from the state.
27 and 28.50 or so.
I would venture to guess that Vanderbilt County, it's much higher than $35 to house them in their own, or
Yeah,
close.
no.
If we could just look at the statutes to see if that's an option to renegotiate, I think we, should do it. It's something reasonable. I'm not saying charge them $100.
Yeah.
We do want them here, but they have to understand also that our costs have went up, our staff, salaries have went up, and utilities and food and everything. So if you guys could just maybe look
We
into
can
that, that
look
would,
at it. I can't promise that somebody
Yeah.
will be able to get it
sure.
up to you. The thing too, I would say to look at, and I know from an accounting standpoint, it's 27.32 or whatever it is. I can't remember what it is, 27.42. But in all reality, we're making a lot more than Alfie and Vandenberg girl, because whether those 4 girls are sitting in my jail or not, the electricity's still the same.
There's a lot of fixed
Everything's still the
costs, I
same,
agree,
yeah.
but there's also variable costs. We may need more staff in the jail. I mean, we are asking for more staff, not just because of them, but it adds to it. So,
Approximately how many out-of-county inmates do you have?
We got 4 right now, and that's about the highest we've been for a while, because our own population is so high. I can't afford to max my female beds out, and then I have to worry about if they bring 3 women in tonight, I don't have a bed for them. So I had to really lower down. Back when we was averaging only 60, 65 inmates in that jail, we were keeping 8 to 10 ladies in there, and we was bringing in almost $100,000 a year from the Vanderbilt County housing fund. Now we're gonna be lucky to hit 40,000 if our population stays the same. So.
when you
just
figure
being
the
real-
cost
just
of
being real.
27 something, I mean, the fixed costs are in there with the variables. So maybe we can look at that sometime
we can look
and
at
just see, but
What is your inmate population right now? About
85.
85.
That's because we just sent 8 to RDC yesterday,
okay.
or Monday, I'm sorry. I lost track of days.
Okay, yeah.
So otherwise, our average right now is 90. We're averaging 90 a month right now. And it's all due to the inmates that we're getting aren't going anywhere. The trials are long-term trials. You're talking about, we have 4 inmates in there that's either been charged with murder, attempted murder. I got 16 sexual offenses against children in there. That's 20 of my 85. Those trials don't necessarily get over real quick. They take a while.
They're not bonding, yeah.
So they're just not going to, they can't bond out. I'm getting tons of people that can't bond out. So they're just not going anywhere.
Okay.
On the janitorial maintenance supplies, I see the increase, but then I see your expenditures that they increase for the year. They're already 6,000.
Halfway through.
So those for some reason have gone up considerably there. For some reason.
For that, when we were drafting this, one of the examples that Ms. Glenn had indicated was we buy our disinfectant and the general cleaning solution in bulk so that we get a better rate. A 5-gallon bucket now costs over $650. So the cost of the janitorial maintenance has gone up again, just because the budget might not necessarily reflect that those bills likely have been paid out of the commissary.
Laundry come out of that.
Laundry, so-
Which we do,
Laundry, yeah.
we do appreciate anything you can alleviate from the general out of the commissary and the inmate housing, because ultimately that's how we have more money to do more things with. So, is the commissary, you said, maxed out? Like you can't pay anything else out of there? Because if we can take some of this out of this and pay it out of commissary, then we can relieve the general fund and have more money to do more things.
Don't know.
I trust Ms. Jane's level of confidence with when we draft these budgets, and I trust her level of confidence in what the commissary can handle, because it's variable as well. It's really dependent upon how many inmates we have, and then.
I think I didn't make sure that money to spend.
Yes.
Right, sales, yeah.
So I
So
trust that, that when she comes to me and says, hey, we need to make little increases to, it's almost always janitorial maintenance supplies, because that covers all of the supplies that laundry soap, the bleach, the toiletries that we have to provide the inmates. I trust her judgment. when
So,
she comes.
some of these increases then are due to moving expenses that were normally paid out of commissary to county general.
I think the commissary was, and I hope I'm correct in this, and if I'm not, I'll send an email after I get back to speak with her, but the commissary was probably comfortable at a certain level with the amount of inmates that we had at one particular time. Again, it's based on how much they can spend. And, and with the inmate population going up, it's probably not going to generate enough expenses go up, because the population goes up, maybe the inmate sales have gone down. So
Would have to do, and I'll research it and see how many out of our 85 are actually considered indigent inmates, which means they have no money. We're providing toothpaste, soap, all toilet paper.
well,
all that
our
stuff
pauper
too.
attorney fees were going
Yeah.
up significantly, so.
Could be tied.
My guess is
That
we
makes
probably
sense.
got 15-20% of that population.
So you can look probably monthly what your sales are and how they're trending, right? I
That's
mean,
true.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much guess if your population is staying consistent, what you're gonna be bringing in.
right,
Again, it's just kind of a fluid guess, because you just.
I understand.
Okay,
I think
I think that's it, isn't it?
that's all I have for the jail budget. I mean, I have other, we're not to it yet, but is there any other,
Jump back to,
are there any other, anything else we need to ask him while he's here from the general?
Oh, it could be.
I mean, we need to, don't make him keep coming back.
we gotta come back, but we can.
We want you to be efficient though. We want you to not have to keep asking you to come back. What else would it be?
Well, you'd have
I mean, there's
public safety,
lit public safety.
36, 37,
36,
38.
Well, it might be sheriff too. No, we didn't.
Oh, there's jail. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, so 38.
Yeah. Actually, that's most of the salary.
no longevity, right there.
Can you, while you're here, can you just talk to us about the jail officer matron, the additional request for that position?
You explained, when we were at the courthouse, that we were discussing, the different positions. You said it's best explained. There's 10 officers, and then, so you might be able to explain that.
Basically, the breakdown of staff in jail right now currently is, you got 2 sergeants, a corporal position, and 10 officers. Then you have Jane, the matron, is out. And then they have are you questioning which the actual matron position or the assistant?
The one that you're requesting additional. So it just says jail officer / matron. You're requesting an additional jail officer who will also help the matron, or?
So the new position would be court correctional officers, but they may help with the kitchen duties, because with the jail officer matron, is the assistant matron and she handles the kitchen, but she also does jail officer duties as well when we need her. So we can,
As far as I know, the additional was just a correctional officer. Because Pat Llewellyn works in the kitchen pretty much when she's there and takes care of all of us. She's actually classified as a correctional officer, but she works in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think that was changed back under Lee Hall.
It could just be how it's listed on here. I was just curious about that. Is there any more, David? Not right now?
Let's do something to share. We're gonna do that, no?
60. Jail operation. Is that one, or is that something else? That's not general. 61, David. Should we wait and talk about that one? Let's take one, have to keep coming back.
we did lower the utilities and jail operations is 4927.
Do you think that the LEDs are helping?
I'm hoping.
I realized I talked to Katie and she said that, the last month's bill was higher, but I mean, it was very hot. So I think it has something to do with it. If, you know,
According to
the
Randy Cole,
temperature.
though, we won't know till sometime next year because
Yeah.
the way Tell City does their
Yeah,
rates.
their
on the
demand charge and the, Yeah.
We won't know what we're really saving until
Okay.
next year sometime.
We dropped it 5,000 in hopes that we
Yeah.
can save at least that much. in
I think you will.
Yeah.
Based on that study that the company did from,
Shoot, it's supposed to.
Florida.
Anyway.
well, they wouldn't want to be wrong because that's their
Yeah, I know.
savings, so. Can we do 61 or should we not?
Yeah, we can.
I mean, is it inappropriate if it's not?
We need to finish it up
Okay,
first.
go ahead. I just don't want him to have to leave and come back.
So as far as the jail, you've got a cut of 4,800. Putting your bottom number at 700,990.
And just for your information, we're cutting out all the longevities right now, just to see where we're at.
We need
Trying to,
it's coming from
you know,
what's on
things,
the other
and
side.
things are moving, so that's what that kind of,
What
we're
the
not
total
targeting the
increase?
jail.
I got 700,990. Kim got it. Let's make sure Kelly got it too.
What is it?
700,990. Yep.
Okay.
Dave, you need a motion on that?
We're doing all the others.
Yeah.
Or, that's all done on that page.
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep, finishing up this page.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the adjustments.
I'll second.
700,990.
I'll second.
Second, motion by
I
Paul.
thought I heard one over there.
Earl. Motion by Paul, second by Earl.
Speak up, Earl. Can't hear you.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried, 7-0.
Kelly and Dave will do 61 now.
I think so. If that's okay, can we move to 61 just while they're here? And
Say them trip back everything.
I do have a couple questions on this one. The jail operations, do you have that with you?
4927, is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So contract, let's see, what was it? What is the maintenance contract? Can you tell me what that is? I know it didn't,
That's your PMs with Alpha and all those people that take care of all that stuff. That's our generator, Alphas, and different things like that.
what else is included in that?
Software maintenance contracts, I believe, are for JMS, that's our jail management system. That it works and interacts with the report management system, which is what the deputies use to create CAD and incident reports, and then it also interacts with the CAD program that's at dispatch.
Okay.
So, yeah, it starts at dispatch, they create a call for service. If there's an incident report, then it shoots the information down to RMS so the deputies can do their report. And then if there's an arrest made, it shoots it over to JMS too. It's a beautiful
Okay.
system.
So just those two things you think is what the 21,600?
There are other contracts as well. This may include the Lieberman contract as well. And I sent some supporting documents just so that you could kind of see. And all they basically were we reached out to our vendors and said, okay, we're preparing our budget. How much are you going to charge us? And some of those with our budget.
Johnson Controls is in there too for the fire system.
Okay. Okay. Do you know how much your alpha is? I'm just curious because the courthouse has an alpha and we, I think,
I could not have to ask Jane, and see what
Okay.
our RP is.
I'll get that.
Yeah.
At a different time. I'm just thinking if we have enough of those type contracts where it might be cheaper to just get a part-time person and that's qualified to do those type things, maybe we need to
See,
look in that
that's the
direction to
issue.
save money.
That's the issue you have right now is we try to use Greg Hendershot for everything he can, but there's certain things he cannot do.
Right.
That
I mean, if
would
we
put
need
us in a bad liability situation if you use him to do it.
Yeah.
Some things warranty wise, you have to use
You have to use.
somebody qualified.
You get a bigger break like on in the kitchen for like the fish tank and all that stuff with E.L. Walters.
You say
If you use
fish
their
tank?
PM, they don't charge you as much.
Dish
for the-
tank, I think is a
Yeah,
dish.
Dish tank.
Oh, well, it's a fish tank.
No.
Some of that stuff that they do the PM on, they give us a break on other stuff too, because we use them and they cover the warranty on it. Otherwise, if you go to a different company, they say, well, if it breaks down, we ain't covered.
And the contract, is that for, the quality corrections?
Quality correctional care, yeah, and, she had sent a letter and, she quoted the Consumer Price Index and Social Security Administration's determined cost of living adjustment. That's, she labeled it at 8.7%. So they had an adjusted outpaced inflation option at 6.5%. And she is quoted as saying, last May, we requested a 3% increase for 2023, not knowing exactly where the economy would end up. And that's what has necessitated the increase for this year.
But that's with quality corrections, so they're requesting that, or they're just saying if you can give us a pay, I mean, is that what the actual contract says?
She had included a 5% increase, so her monthly bill, or the overall total for the year will be $153,735.50. And then they will bill that out monthly.
So it's, their justification is just salary increase?
That's really going up.
She said at this point,
102, 117.
Well, I remember a couple years ago, the hours went up. You went
We
from,
went from.
because of the
32
jail
hours.
population,
Oh, okay.
because it required more hours.
Sorry,
Let's wake up. Because there were so many more inmates, it was gonna require more. It was at the conversation a couple years ago, I think.
It was about a year and a half or so. I
Something.
can't remember the exact time, but yeah, we went from
So
24
I think
nursing
that's
hours
why
to 22.
they came and requested additional hours because of the jail population.
That's why we're not.
Okay.
she's quoted in saying medical care prices fluctuated with increases from 2.9% for prescription drugs to 9% for medical equipment and supplies.
Yeah.
That was,
And this jail operations is funded through the edit money that we receive, and we're
Yeah.
projected to get 362,434. So,
Yeah, that's all I have for that. I was just wanting to go through it.
What was that total?
we're projected to get 362,434
For that portion of it.
for that portion.
Right,
Yeah, that's
because
the
the
23.
edits cut up into, yeah. Okay, that's all I have. Anybody else has anything?
So we're really not changing anything here.
I mean, if anybody else wants to.
Yeah. Something about here.
It stays the same. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Keith, second by Stan. All those in favor of the jail operation budget remaining at 207,836, signify by saying aye. Motion
Are there
carried.
any more that we need to?
You got any more funds you draw out of there?
There's inmate housing.
yeah, if you got inmate housing, you have the lit fund for the detention center.
Let's look at that.
Yeah.
One at a time.
The lit fund for the detention center is 1114.
And I'll tell you what page it is.
29.
Inmate housing is 62. It's right there where we're at.
Yeah, 62 inmate housing.
Housing. Look at that cash now.
I do have a question about the, well, no. The whole employee,
What do you have a question on?
body camera contract, 10,000 that wasn't in there last year. Is that because, where was that paid for before?
We would seek grants, and, or seek donations. It got to the point where we couldn't justify, or we couldn't guarantee that we would always come across a grant. And there was one year in particular, I don't remember which year it was either last year or the year before, where we were scrambling at the last minute to pay the bill. And we said, you know what, we're not gonna depend on grants, we're not going to depend on donations. We're going to at least get a line item somewhere in the budget so that we've got the money set aside.
Sure, I
If we
agree.
get a grant, hey, great,
Then
we'll leave
it
it alone.
alleviates the additional. I agree with that. Now, wasn't there one time, I remember the prosecutor's office was given a certain $5,000 or something? Do they still do that?
We haven't reached, I don't know if we've reached out to Sam
Because they
yet.
have a certain budget that they can pull from that's not general, they collect fees or something. I mean,
We'll reach back out to her to say, hey, this was what the agreement was.
yeah, I just thought maybe if it could help alleviate a little out of the general from one of those other categories, then we could do that and have more.
It's also out of 1170 body cameras, page 36.
Okay, yep, I knew there was another one. I mean, it's worth it, ask, I guess.
And then just for.
The maintenance contracts went up, so what, is there additional contract or?
We, the TASER contract went up, because
Okay.
we, are leasing, extras or more, TASERs, 3 more.
For the potential new officer?
No, they were actually into the jail, to use in the jail. We never had we had to upgrade the tasers because we were running out of the old tasers, the battery supplies, the battery packs in the probes that they fire were so old and outdated that.
So if you get your new officers that you're requesting, they're gonna need these things as well, right? So we'll have to look in the inmate housing probably for that.
So are you saying that the body cameras is actually for tasers?
So the TASER, contract is there, it's just labeled as maintenance contracts. Then we wanted to add the body camera contract and put a figure there.
Have those been figured in for the new officers, or you would just take them out of inmate housing? If we were able to get you 2 new deputies?
So those are 2 contracts we would have to renegotiate.
Okay.
And then, with the small rural tribal grant that we are, in the last phase of, they had said that we could reach out for a budget modification on those. TASERs, unfortunately, we would just have to reach out and add to the lease program to the TASERs.
And you're not currently funding any of the lease payment out of here that you used to?
And just for clarification on the overtime pay, that is for correctional officers and deputies. So if we run into a situation where.
So yesterday when we were questioning about why is it only 7,500? And when you were technically saying 1,400 hours is really what you might need, there's some here too.
Yes.
That could be counted for.
If we get in a pinch and a deputy's already worked his 42 hours for the week, we can pay them overtime to cover that shift if need be. Comp time is a nasty reoccurring nightmare is what it is.
Yeah.
If we're having trouble getting the schedule covered, we gotta make adjustments. Then it's a nasty revolving circle. So this overtime fund, has been a godsend.
As far as financials for this fund, projected income for 2024 on this fund is 42,000. And the projected ending cash balance for 2023 is $96,051.
So my ask would be if there's additional overtime needed, if we could look at the inmate housing also.
Yeah, if we were to run through all 15,000, we have expended, roughly 6,700. That's probably not an updated,
Well, that was only through June. That's only through June.
yeah, we would come back and say, hey, could we could we take money from the NA housing fund just to replenish it with some more?
Okay. I think that's all I have on that one. Anybody else have any questions on that?
We really haven't changed anything there.
Not really too changed.
Yep, and it's in budget,
All right,
so that would leave it as is at 39,894.
Motion,
I'll make that motion
motion
to
by
accept it.
Stan,
I'll second.
second by Keith, all those in favor of the inmate housing fund, leaving the balance at 39,894.
Aye.
Aye.
and are we going to 29 detention center? Just go ahead, is that okay?
Absolutely, I like getting these done.
Well, I just don't want to have to keep coming back.
Absolutely.
Go back up.
All right, special, now this one right here.
So this one is 1114, detention.
Maintenance contracts, building, repairs and
There's
fixtures.
no change, but I am curious what it is.
I do want to bring up this cash balance.
What is it?
Look at your paper before.
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Never mind, I know what it is.
This account right here, I really wanted to look and see if there's other things that can be paid out of
I agree.
this. Because we currently right now, as of September 1st, had $2,625,184.65 with a budget of $65,000 to be spent out of this. Year to date, we've received 600,
How long was it supposed to last?
Yeah.
Whenever, there was a set amount of years they had projected that it was
684,
supposed to
yeah.
last.
So I really think we kind of need to look and see if there's other things that can be
Well,
paid out of this.
there was a projection on the amount of years that was supposed to last, whenever, because they had to have legislation change to even get it to where it's just for the
Yeah,
jail.
I'm trying to remember.
And what with that legislation is allowable is the other question, because remember they had to have Mr. Martell's,
Actually, we talked about,
there's a certain amount of
this would only
years.
be used for like, at one point it was only to be used for like major repairs. So I think since we have paid the bonds off and this balance is here, I think that balance can actually be used for other things.
We need to look at it.
It's my understanding that you use it for anything to do with jail, operating the jail. If there was a capital improvement that needed to be made, that is
Yeah.
obviously an allowable expense. I think we've used it in the past, just for a quick example, to reseal the parking lot,
Yeah.
one time. So,
Was the dishwasher, did that come out of here? The $20,000 or whatever, I think it
I
did.
believe the dishwasher was an example.
Yeah, there was another big, I mean, there was a projection, I remember a couple of years ago, there was a discussion about that, and at the current rate, it would last 6 or 8 years or something like that.
And what was that for?
We need to find out, because I remember that.
Bless you.
Thank you. When Luke was here.
Yeah, it was,
I'm looking right now.
I can't remember what that was for.
I probably
but-
have, I have a folder at home, probably.
Because we wouldn't know what the maintenance was going to be in the future, so I don't know how we could determine that.
It was like operations, but it couldn't be applied for salaries. So anything that was operational, major repairs, yes, the
We
infrastructure.
probably need to get that
infrastructure.
legislation and look at it and see.
Yeah, it probably was operational. General
That
operating.
money's invest salaries.
I was thinking it was like around 300,000 or something a year. And then
It's drag out
you projected out
several years.
10 years.
Spending on
Well, the interest is
65.
going in the interest account, huh?
Technically, could you pay for your, 2,500 or your 250,000 out of there next year? That's
What?
operation.
But it's not the jail, it's a PSAP center. I don't know, we need to look at the
Oh,
legislation
no,
and
I don't
see.
think so.
I don't think so either, but
Well, kind of.
And the thing about it
if we
is,
free up other money, we could use that. for
this
that.
was kind of
Right,
there
kind of.
for,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was
I mean, it's,
more major.
You have one major breakdown and you could use a lot of that.
yeah, I mean, it's like when you need a roof, or you need a whole security system, or
Just
you
like
need
a couple of years ago when the water softener system blew.
yeah, and I do think we need
Big
to
stuff.
be a little cautious with what,
Same way with
and I think you guys are doing that.
But
But there's some things we can do.
Yeah,
that
but
I
what I'm
agree.
saying is like, in discussion with that 250,000, if we can take something in 1 year and free up 25,000 and legitimately pay it out of special legislation, then that's gonna free up 2,500 to pay it elsewhere.
I
So
agree.
that's what I'm saying. There's ways,
We just need to know what that,
The
right?
big thing, just to
I
keep in
assume your
mind,
office probably has it.
facilities like that, 2 million doesn't take
It
long to
doesn't,
burn.
yeah,
It does not.
that's what I was saying, that there was a projection, it was only gonna last so many years, I thought, wow,
Have
that's not very
$500
many
bills, you
years.
have $5,000 bills every time something, or 10,000.
I think that was
20,000.
based on
It's like a
operations.
juvenile
Jail
detention
operations.
center.
Yeah.
Oh, so it'll be longer then if we still take it all out.
There was a
We need to look at
discussion
Really?
that took place between Sheriff Chestnut and Sheriff Malone and I, and might have been David Falkenberg. And we were talking about Sheriff Chestnut, inherited a new building, and that Sheriff Malone, in essence, even though it's operating 24/7, it was a rather new building. It was gonna be the sheriff after those two were gone that was gonna have headaches, stuff.
You're starting to get to the lifespan of things that are.
How old is it, the jail?
You're getting 10 years, about
So
10
we're
years,
getting
it was
close to like
2014, right?
the roof or.
And you're gonna start seeing some things that are gonna, cause I went through it out at Rancho when we had all the brand new buildings, and all of a sudden everybody said, why does everything break down sometimes? Cause everything was built at the same time.
Also,
it's 24/7. Yeah, so you're gonna start seeing some things, just like last year,
We
the
need
water
to probably
softener.
start looking at that and seeing what the life is on certain bigger items, and if we can know ahead of time what.
That 2 heat exchangers.
I'm not saying you can't spend a little outlet, but you don't want.
Yeah, no, I don't wanna take a bunch, you're right.
That's ridiculous.
Looking for that.
Your chillers and your boilers are your big ticket item.
Yeah.
Huge sprinkler system, we had a valve that we had to replace on it, and it was, couldn't believe it.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay.
If I can find paperwork on that, I'll try to email to you as well, on what it could be spent on, because I know I've seen it.
Yeah, I just tried looking and
We
stuff house.
So we were capital improvements.
Yeah.
Anything operational but not salaries.
It would just be nice to have and to know. I agree with David that we don't wanna start dipping in right and left, because then there'll be nothing left, and then we have to renew a bond on something, because we have zero money.
I looked under the Indian code and
Yeah.
nothing there.
Well, we don't need to do that.
Operations.
We don't, I wouldn't go there.
No,
We need to leave the money alone, because that's their rainy day funds, which helps us out
like you say, it could go
in result.
pretty quick when you start.
We just need to get a true maintenance schedule on the bigger items to know what we have coming, so
Okay,
I'm fine with that one.
So no changes to special legislation, leaves it at 65,000,
Unless anybody else.
entertain motion,
29.
motion by Paul,
Second.
second by Erla, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
Is there
7-0.
another one here? Do we?
Once we get clarification on what's that,
Yeah.
11/14, then maybe we could come together and say, okay, is there jail operations that we could move from here and
Take a
move it
closer
over
look
here?
at it.
We'll have to keep a small volume though, because we don't want
Yeah.
to reoccurring and drain, we don't want to put a permanent drain in that tape on that
Yeah.
fund, because there's nothing,
to come
Once it's
out.
gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Even if we could just take what it's making an interest and just say, okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad to do
You know,
that.
I mean, just that amount and take it because it's coming,
Spend your
it should,
interest.
yeah,
That way you're not losing
Yeah.
principal.
that's right.
Do you wanna look at lit public safety?
Yeah, sure.
While they're here,
What's the number?
sheriff, page 36.
Oh, okay, 36, 37, 38.
Or just 36.
Oh,
If you had any questions about it?
You already did 48.
No way.
Let's look.
We're not, we don't want you to do it.
36.
36. So we don't have any more given
Okay.
here.
No.
It was out of the other one, I think. There's the other body cams. Okay. If you could have that conversation with the prosecutor to see if they would be willing to continue to get it out of that other fund that would alleviate the general, that 5,400 would really help.
Okay. If I had an answer on a definitive answer on the grants, I could say,
I know.
2 years worth, because as soon as they.
I mean, we still want you to apply, but we understand that maybe
It's gonna be at least 2 years worth of bills, but we won't have to pay because the grant will cover it. The question that I have for utility is gonna be if, because they set us up on a yearly plan, it's a 5-year plan. My question to them is if we make this one big huge payment, what are they gonna wanna do? Are they gonna want us to put that over just the total cost and then we still pay a yearly amount and it's just less? Or do we just don't pay for 2 years and then we begin to pay year 3, 4, 5?
Or do you even have to pay it all at once? Can we just break it down into 12 equal? I mean, why are we gonna give them all the money up front and they can earn interest on it? And they're not giving us a break. If we pay it in advance, we should be getting a break, all at once, I think.
I don't think we did, or I didn't mark it, but.
It's worth it.
Well, we approved the position.
Otherwise, just.
No, that was in the general.
10 was in the general,
Okay.
11
We
would
need
be
to-
out of
We
here.
can strike 10 off
We
of
can
this.
strike
This, we
10.
would take 10 off,
Okay.
because we already
Yeah.
approved it under.
And just so you guys know, within just lit public safety. Hold on, I didn't add that. Never mind, I gotta add one more thing because we increased this. 86. Go ahead, you guys do your thing.
Okay,
So
we did.
I just wanna make sure I'm understanding this right. The 9th officer that you already have was through a grant, but it's coming off the grant next year. So we will be responsible, the county, to fund the full 9th, that we didn't have that expense before. So to us, technically, it's a new officer to pay for.
This, we paid 46% of his salary.
Right.
So now
So
we
we-
have to pay 100%.
Yeah.
We're paying 46.
No, I think they paid 46, right?
But now
The
we're
general
gonna be-
didn't pay 46.
No, yes, so now we're gonna be paying the 46, right?
The county paid 46, the federal, like, if we're looking at it at a percentage, the county paid 46% of the officer's salary and benefits, and to include
We did
retirement.
it right. I don't think you got to change it.
Yeah.
When's that run
I
out,
think
Eric?
they helped pay it.
Eric,
Let me look.
when's that run out, that grant, but?
So,
So it would be 100%.
3 years, they
I
covered
think-
54% of
Now,
it, but we had to pick
but
up
I'm
the
saying last
46.
year we paid,
I want to
That
know what,
Jack-
that Jag
from
grant,
what. That's what I want to know.
which one?
could that be used if we
We
get
need
it?
to look at it.
That also?
I'll know a little more about
Look at 37.
the JAG, availability and what we could use it for after, I gotta go to a meeting on October the 5th.
Okay.
No,
So I have a
that.
little more answers after that.
Look at that.
A lot of it has to do, they like buzzwords, so it's whatever the communities, whatever crisis that they're facing, that's where they're gonna wanna funnel money to, so we'll have to find out what they're really wanting this money to go towards.
Okay.
And, so I'll have more answers.
What, Kelly, can you tell us where that 46% that the county's paying for on that 9th deputy, where's that coming from?
Sure,
Is it-
on page 65.
Okay. So it is out of the
Deputy.
general?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if it was coming from some, if you guys were helping offset that too. So instead of 46%, so basically half of a salary and benefits, we're gonna have to.
54, it was 54, 46.
So really, for us, the ask is 2.5 officers, even though it's really only 2 new officers, right? Okay.
Correct.
We were already paying 50% of it,
That's what I mean.
roughly.
But when we look at from the financial, you're at 2.5.
Right, for us, I mean, for you, it's just really 2 new people, but for us,
Right.
it's 2.5 people. Yeah. Okay.
So the body cameras,
I mean, if you could just ask, I guess we can't do anything about it right now, but if you find out,
In the past, that amount that the pretrial's requesting in the prosecutor's office,
Uh-huh.
that included a donation for body cam.
Oh, it did? So I'm
So I
just
don't know
curious
if
if,
she's changed it, but in the past, that was the exact same amount.
shouldn't
We
discuss
got
that.
We did get a $5,000 check from Smith's office to pay for, to pay us bank for those.
Body cam.
okay, so she's already continuing it, so it's likely that she's doing that again, so can we remove this 5,000
I would
of
say-
this?
I would say so. And
I
what would,
think we should do that, yeah.
by the time we
Check
have
with
to,
her.
Can we verify, wonder if anybody could call Sandy?
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind. And make sure she understands that she's doing it right now, so as long as she continues. Yeah. 'Cause I think
I don't think
Teresa
she
helped her with
mentioned
the
that the
budget.
other night, did she? I don't think she-
Yes, I don't remember.
Under donation.
the good thing about.
I mean, that would help 5,000
What'd you
here.
say?
Under donations.
She did?
When we
I don't
can,
know. She
No,
just usually says donations.
I don't remember mentioning anything about donations.
In pretrial, there's 13,000
Yeah.
requested.
Okay.
Oh,
And is
And that
that,
was always part of
is it
that.
the same as what it always,
okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
then it's likely, but we need to verify if we can. Let's take
She's in
5,000.
court.
Let's take 5,000 off this. I think it's
Yeah.
probably safe to say her request is the same.
Okay.
She sent it in
quick
this year.
question. Do you know off the top of your head, are you funding for body cameras
see
in
her removing that.
2024? Question mark.
I can see it later.
I just say we take that off, that 5,000 right now. We can always come back if she says not.
and I mean, if push came to shove too, we could come back
Yeah.
to you and ask for an additional out of inmate housing.
Yeah, okay.
Where was
Let's
the
take,
body camera?
you wanna take the whole
Lit public
5,600 off
safety.
or just,
Page
or
36.
is it okay?
I think we'll get the grade.
36.
54, 53, sorry.
36. 36. Page
Yeah,
36.
yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah, the 10,000, we would.
Oh. It's like,
Sorry.
36.
Okay, 54, 53. So Eric, you're okay with taking that off since 5,000 will likely come from the prosecutor's office? If for some reason she says it doesn't, then we can revisit it. And then the 453, you think you can make up in inmate housing?
Yep.
Or a grant or, okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's gonna put that at 2,000.
Yeah. Sam does make a mean cookie.
Sam and Steve can make cookies.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's true.
We're gonna bake stuff.
307 and
Cupcakes.
3,000,
Car wash.
285, 307.
285, 307.
I want to make sure, is that right?
We're getting rid of the 10th deputy and the body cameras, right?
Well, it's because it was, the 10th deputy was twice, right?
Right.
5205,
Claire, is there any way we could
282,307
eliminate that
plus
3,000
3,000,
from vehicle maintenance?
285,
Because I know you got
307.
vehicle maintenance in other places.
285, 307.
Let me take a quick.
Yep, 285, 307, yeah.
I mean, you gotta, you know,
You cut 57,458.
hang on a minute, we're not done, maybe
But
not
that's
done
from
cutting,
PSAP, that
Chris.
doesn't even matter. What?
We may not be done, I'm having him check on vehicle maintenance. I mean, I know he's gotta have maintenance on his vehicles, but
I that, I
If
need
we
to
can-
change this.
he's got it in other places. We could, place we can pick up a little bit.
What'd you say that's from? PSAP?
Yeah, this is lit. not
Well, then we need to
PSAP.
look at shuffling.
This is just lit public safety. This
No,
is
it's not
PSAP.
gonna change your county general.
It's not gonna change your county general. As I said, this isn't gonna subtract off of your.
Okay.
Well, we got a lot to cut there too,
Yeah.
so. That
Yeah,
does,
I actually had it totaled up and I I didn't write it down. Oh, yeah, I did. We've got to cut 645, basically 646,000 from, lit,
Public safety.
well, it helps.
lit public safety.
Yeah.
Cause we're only, this is what we're getting. So as of right now, our lit public safety, this is totally different than what we've been
Yeah.
working on before. Our estimated income is 669,552. Our budget request is 1,315,536.
Okay.
And so we need to cut 645,984.
And what else, what all
Well,
accounts
that'll
come out of
be,
that?
lit public safety, county sheriff, lit public safety commissioner.
Okay,
That's got the ambulance or the capital equipment and stuff in
Yeah.
there. And then we've got the jail.
which one?
Yeah.
County, lit public safety
Okay.
jail.
36, 37,
We
38.
may have to go back for an additional, but if that helps to cut that out,
Start.
Yeah.
3,000,
cut?
3,000
We're at which one?
vehicle maintenance.
I mean, if he needs it,
We haven't used any yet this year and they used
Okay.
600 in 2022.
that's true, yeah,
So that's gonna put that to
So-
60.
just zero that out. 60,458.
Yes, so minus 3,000. It's a total of 60.
282,307. I'm gonna look at that, see if things can be shuffled like.
You guys good with that? 282,307?
Are there any more?
Motion?
Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Motion by Kelly, second by
Second.
Dale. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Are there any more that we need to look at?
How many
Do
days?
you wanna go ahead and do jail operations
Yeah.
lit while you're here?
Yeah.
Let's get these lits done. Let's,
I agree, 38.
Look at it, we just didn't vote on it.
So. What is this? It says jail officer. Are you requesting 2 additional jail officers or 1?
Just one.
Okay, so this other one was already here, yeah. Yeah. So basically it's just increases in pay and
we would work on that.
we'll do that later, you know.
Yeah, that's most.
No, your uniform allowance here, you're at 0 halfway through the year, is that? I mean, I assume you're gonna use that by the end of the year, or you don't need it, or?
The, let's see, total budget, yeah. So we try to hold on to just a little bit. We issue out a large chunk of it at the beginning of the year and
Okay.
let the guys purchase what they need, and then we try to hold on to a little.
Well, the reason I say that is there's 0 spent out of it as of June, so.
I think this is to help offset the cost of if we hire a new jail
Okay.
officer, and we have to order uniforms for them. We try to hold on to just a little bit. Same could be used for a deputy, I guess. If there's equipment there are certain pieces of equipment that we have to replace by the individual. One that I can think of right off the top of my head is their public safety ballistic vests. They're measured to them, so.
Just kind of throwing this out here as a question. So it looks like there's this additional jail officer matron.
Yeah.
If you would have the choice between a 10th deputy and 11th deputy.
Yeah.
And this, which one would you let go of?
You talking about,
If you weren't able to get all 3, if you're only able to get 2, would you prefer to have 1 deputy, an extra deputy, and a jail officer matron? Or would you prefer to have 2 officers? I'm just kind of looking at the numbers, because
So we have no extras in the jail and 2 on the road, or
Yes.
Yes.
1 on the road and 1 in the jail?
Yeah.
I'm a
Or-
little selfish.
Yeah.
Or 1 in the jail, 1 on the road, and apply for a grant.
If I was gonna be selfish, I would like to have my officer, but if I'm looking at more, what provides more public safety, it would be 2 road deputies.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think we need to, sorry, Ron.
Well, I mean, the only issue you're gonna run into liability wise is, we just had the new jail staff assessment done, and this guy's saying that we're 7 short in the jail, so do we really need 7? But what's that gonna do liability wise for us if something ever bad happens in the jail? And you say, you got this staffing professional guy that came in and said, this is what your jail staff should be. Of course, you can do the same thing for the road deputies. I mean, we're never gonna get 7 officers in there. So, I mean, we're never gonna get that staffing anyway.
I'm just
Don't
like
say
thinking
never,
along.
because we
I
can
think
work
we
out
ought
a
to
plan.
pay 41,000.
I mean, it
I
wouldn't
mean, over the
be,
next
I'd rather
10 years
have
maybe,
guys.
but
well,
I'm
I'd
just
rather-
thinking as starting out at PSAP, we've got to cut
if we need
a lot, and I'm
if
just saying.
we're looking at overall, how does the entire county become safer? It'd be the 2 road deputies. If I'm gonna be selfish and say I want it easier for my staff, I'd rather.
I understand
so the need is more so on the deputy.
I mean,
If we're prioritizing.
I would worry more about somebody at 2:00 in the morning working the road by himself and having to go to someplace like Magnet where there's no cell signal and nothing, and they're there by themselves.
Absolutely.
And they start getting their wore out and they don't have any help.
I think that my thought is we eliminate this jail officer / matron for now.
And then see where we're at.
See what happens.
I would rather I really want to get the 2 road deputies.
And if possibly right now, what you're looking at is 10 out of deputy, 10 out of, general. And we've still got stuff to cut out, PSAP.
And have a deputy 9.
Bless you, Paul.
And deputy 9, so,
I'm just gonna back to the uniform allowance, Katie just sent me a text that apparently the uniform allowance has been used, I guess, to this.
Okay, so
It's
it's just
probably
since
after
June.
July,
Or
yeah.
July, sorry.
She
yeah.
said so has vehicle maintenance. They've went through all that.
So that 3,000,
And that's,
Yeah.
that's something we can cut it now. I hate to try to be predictive in nature, but we'll probably be coming back from it.
well, and as we add more deputies, there's gonna be more cars, there's gonna be more maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be unrealistic to go backwards and say we don't need it. We're gonna need more,
Budgeted
really.
anywhere else.
is the truth
How
of it.
much is budgeted elsewhere?
It is in general.
We've got some budgeted in
We
general.
have some budgeted in general. And so we got tires, out of general, fuel and oil are in general as well. And then, down a little further, you'll see that there's vehicle maintenance at $245,000. So, it's a combination of also that the leased vehicles are starting to get a little older now. And, their warranty didn't take us very far. So we can, the next go around, we're looking at warranties to play maybe a little more vital role in the negotiation process.
So the leases that are coming up, are you looking to buy those or
I think,
should we look at that to see
we
where
look
our mileage is and if we have, lifespan and it's only.
we'll look at it.
amount?
This is what I envision. I envision a meeting soon with the council and maybe the commissioners too, if they want to sit down. And then we want to provide all the data that we're gathering.
Yep.
And then big thing is cost of ownership. I think that's what's
I
going to be
agree.
surprising. And then, maybe look at some ideas that the lieutenant and our mechanics looking at. So.
Well before it expires and they want an answer now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it is we want to get through the budget as soon
Yeah.
as soon as everything's, then that's at the top of the priorities, because we know that this is gonna have to be negotiated next year.
Chris, you're gonna have to, if we pull that matron/jail officer out, are you gonna have to refigure the social security?
Yeah, that won't take long. You may do that right now?
Please. If everyone else is okay with that.
I mean, we can always add it back in if you have a surplus of money. But, I mean,
Well, you'd have to figure the retirement too.
Kelly, I do have a copy of the docket that
Uh-huh.
we just processed, and it
Sure.
says here from Samantha
Get a
Harris,
letter,
please give a
nine,
check to the
nine.
sheriff for
Okay.
$5,000.
okay,
But next
So-
year I have no. clue.
well, I understand, but if she's budgeted the same amount, it's likely that it's the same, worst case, we can figure something out, but
11.2.
don't see.
I always have to look at my tweet sheet.
I don't speak for her.
11.2 and 7.65.
I know, I always have to look at it still though. 16,249. Okay. 52,005.
I went up there and I was trying to figure in my head what the difference that was.
And we can sit down and also work on the deputy plan and the jail officer plan. If it's a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, how to get there, we need to do that. So that we're not in a position where we have to do 2 or 3 all at once, because that's really a heavy thing
Well,
to
and
do in
then-
1 year.
And then you'll be able to say, it would be better if you asked from this fund than not this fund.
Yeah. I'm willing to sit down anytime.
This wasn't right.
Did I not add it? 55, 41,073. 15.
Because the more efficient we are with that,
Times
the more money we have for
7.65%.
other things like the increases.
11,098.84.
We need to add the jail corporal.
Ooh, we forgot the corporal down there. Okay. Yeah. I was just doing those top 3. You got those added employees down at the bottom. You snuck those little pages in.
Well, I marked out the holiday pay on the corporal, thinking I was doing longevity, and there's nothing even in there.
Well.
Just
What'd
mark
you
it
get
down. 14,475. You have to include that holiday.
Holiday pay, okay. Retirement. Get that one.
Oh, you need to adjust the holiday pay too. Also,
Yeah. Look at that 352.
I do have a question about the matron. I think she's gonna go into like a partial retirement or retire and then, I know. And then still help out when needed to train and help whoever's taking over that position. So is that accounted for anywhere? The extra hours for her
It
to,
would come out of the part-time jail staff.
okay. So where the officers and deputies, okay. I was just curious about that. I know it's not gonna be like a line.
I'm glad.
She deserves it.
I'm happy for her though, that she can do that.
21669.
She'll always be there if you need her.
No.
As Jane,
Retirement.
you wanna work 2 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever you wanna work, we'll make it happen, you know? I love her.
I think she'd volunteer if you wanted her to.
She was,
Anything to get away from Bob.
she is truly the department mom. You know, she pays the bills. You have to go to her
I'm
ask
doing it
to
again.
be able to buy something, you know, but
Okay.
she has been an absolute treat.
Corporal 41956. Corporal 2176. Time.
I just want to make sure that was, you had
Yeah,
that somewhere.
We were
Okay.
taking that out of either the part-time assistant matron or the part-time jail staff. So that's what we do at this point now.
Okay.
Two 2166942. I've got it twice.
21.
What'd you get?
19.
211.
I don't like seeing myself on that.
Did you not add,
Everyone else does either.
holiday pay in?
Most things.
4173. 4260. 41958. 2176 comes to 193,477 times 11.2%. I got it again. I got it 3 times.
One of your calculators needs to go back to school.
Okay, what are you're adding the 52,005 twice, right? 41,073.
I got one.
Then
41958, 2176.
Only as good as the numbers you punch in.
did you not add the 4260?
No.
Okay. There we go.
Right again, Chris.
Nope, I got it right. I was
You
right.
said right again, Chris.
21669.
Say it again.
I was right. Can you make sure to tell Bryce that, please?
I don't care about your right as much as I'd like to have the total, please.
21669.
That was for the retirement.
Oh,
Now we'll get the grand total.
That's gonna be separate to the,
Social Security? I took your word on Social Security. Okay. All right, let's redo Social Security real quick. I've got that amount, 193,477 times 7.65%, 14,801.
Is there any other thing?
On this one?
No, I mean on any of the other ones.
On the other.
We don't need to set. Okay.
We got one more?
318,668.
You just share.
Yep. Are you ready for your total?
Yeah.
please.
318,668.
Is that the last one, Kelly?
No, we've got one more.
We got firearm training.
We got
Is
4.
that,
That's not.
That
part
last
of
one, you don't have to, we don't have to do that one.
I want to try
it. No,
do that.
that's paid out. 50,000.
Very last page.
50,000?
Okay, so here's what happened with that.
Oh, I see.
Learn stuff every day. That is there's special funds that don't have to have appropriations. And my black and white brain was questioning, because I'm like, okay, why do you not have to have a budget? You know, why can you, I was trying to minimize the use of the account code 50,000, because I was just like, this just does not seem right in my black and white brain that, oh, what's the justification that this can be a 50,000, that you can just spend this money without any appropriation or any approval. So then I got to looking and found the list of funds that do not require that. Basically, they just can't spend it if they don't have it. And that's one of them. So like I said, I learn new stuff every day.
Do you have a list of those funds?
Yeah, I'd
I
like to
can
have
email
that.
that to you because I got that.
Can you send me that also?
Yes.
And that one particular fund we use for firearms training, and we use it for body armor.
What is that mean?
Body armor.
Where do we,
For the deputies.
50,000? What?
Where does it come from?
Where does that come from?
That
The
was a response from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute when we no longer were able to collect firearms permits, the fees associated with that. That fund was what supplied all of our ammunition. It purchased us weapons, all of the operations as it applies to firearms training. And then we would buy body armor. That was about the only thing that we would ever buy out of it. So when they said, all right, we're not going to collect firearms permits, they came through and they said, okay, we're going to look at the last year, the last full calendar year of what you brought in. And then they began to start to cut a check once a year for that amount.
So that's where so all these get funded like that, somehow, 50,000 accounts, I assume. They'll spend
Did you
it.
get a cut of 47,603?
How many is there? How many are in there?
Just want to make sure. You want to check it as we go.
What are they?
I guess you'll say that.
All right, motion? Sorry, I'm kind of.
I'm gonna entertain a motion to
I'll make a
approve the
motion.
motion by Kelly,
A second.
second by Earl, all in favor, signify by saying aye. This is the local income tax public safety jail.
Aye.
Bring it down to 318,688. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, I didn't write that down. Who was the first and who was the second?
Kelly and Earl.
All right, is there anything else with them, or you guys want to continue on public safety so we can knock out one fund and try, or not?
I think we might.
We don't need them anymore, do we?
I don't think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's
Oh,
any
yeah.
more funds for you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Eric.
Huh?
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, guys.
You can send them out on the
Thanks, Ron.
special legislation,
Sure. See what I can find.
so I can,
We may do them back on the wages. We don't know. That'll be whenever that happens, when everybody's wages.
all right.
Okay, what's next? What do you want to do? Which one?
I just don't know. I mean, do you guys want to, I don't know, you can go back to general and keep going, or you can look at these other two lit public safeties.
We gotta do them all, so
Let's just
whatever
go
you want to do.
the two
Let's do
public
it.
safety.
6458.
So you mean 56?
47,603. So we did
Like 56 for the PSAP, or
no,
what do you want to
lit
do?
public safety, we did sheriff. We did jail, so now we've got left to do is the commissioner. And you guys have 537,923 left to cut from, public safety.
Okay, this is,
And that's with the ambulance ask?
yes,
That's with the ambulance
So
at
if-
460.
So my 181 is not right here. I need.
No,
it's
that's 606,500.
606,500. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. You can pretty much easily get this PSAP done right now. Because if you look, they asked
Okay,
for
here's
460.
what I want to know.
Mhm.
This year, we paid $215 to EMS.
Out of general,
Out of general, but there was another small amount, what
we
was
paid
it?
60 out of
60
PSAP, which is right up here.
out of
Okay,
this already.
yes, so in 2023, we paid them $215 out of general and for ambulance services, and we paid them 60 out of PSAP. So we paid them a total of $275. Now,
Plus the 35.
plus the 35, which is
But technically,
that's,
that's not really fair to them, was it? We said you had to pay it.
so,
Why we're paying it.
Because they
Eric
didn't
forgot
have
his
that.
phone.
They paid them,
I
we just
know.
reimbursed them.
Okay, so they've asked for that, so that's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
I mean, they want part of their money.
Yeah.
Technically, they're
Yeah.
getting all, okay, so then I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Fine. As long as they
Oh,
understand.
no, they did.
Go ahead.
They're the one who
Okay,
requested.
well then, as long as, so we're paying $275 plus 35, right?
315 total. No,
Uh-huh.
no. You're saying 215. I'm saying 315 total is
Is
what
it
we're
315
paying.
total is what we paid?
We're paying
Paid 215,
215, 60,
35,
35.
60.
But technically, 35,000 of that is going to the dispatch. It's
Right.
not technically going to Perry County Memorial. So if we take that off,
275. Yeah, that's what
It's
I,
215 plus
we have
60.
paid.
plus
215.
never mind, I'm not gonna bring it up.
That has not been paid.
I know, I'm not bringing it up.
Oh, the 25.
Hey.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I mean, it's fine, but not big.
You go, they've asked about it, I'm not gonna lie, they've asked about it.
Oh, they have, then we need to do it.
But you guys never told me where to pay it out of.
We need to do an additional
We
appropriation.
were actually gonna pay it out. This.
Out of this.
And then we were going.
They asked about it a while ago.
Well, then it's only fair, because we did. make
'Cause I
an
have-
intent.
I just yesterday
I thought
got
if they're not
their,
billing, then that's different.
yeah,
So we need to add that to the agenda, but anyway.
we'll do that in October.
Okay, getting back to this. Dispatch services, 86,000.
460, 50,
We need to leave that, I guess.
465, sorry, 4,600.
Here's my issue. I want 2 ambulances on the road at all times. That's what we were promised, that's what we should be getting now, that's what,
What's this?
I think it's getting better from what I can tell by listening to the scanner and talking to the hospital, that their staffing is beginning to go up. I believe there's 2 or 3 graduates gonna graduate between EMT and paramedic next month. So I think once those new people get in their positions, it will help with that, and it would also cut out all that $10 an hour extra critical pay. You know, maybe not all of it, but they're paying an extra, like hazard pay, because they have such low staff for these people to continue to come in and work all these crazy shifts on top of their regular hours. So that, along with the reimbursement rate going up for mileage from $1.75 to $7 for the travel. I think
right here, but we have.
they should be seeking additional revenue. I mean,
Because that.
to help
that.
help offset. The only thing I would be okay with is possibly discussing a $25,000 like we did this year, you know, upping it from 275 to 3. If we can do that, I don't know.
Can I ask a question? The 4,6,500 that they're asking for, is that under ambulance services or
No.
equipment?
It's under capital.
Capital.
So that goes in the equipment.
Yes,
So that 30, but we're paying 35, but that's really not our part. That's the,
yes it is.
that's,
No,
That's
they
a
want it
different
to be their
35.
part.
That's a different 35.
okay, so but what I'm saying,
So they're wanting actually $495 if it's
so is that what
$460.
that's what I'm saying, does this need to be increased from 460,500 to 495,500? Because the 35 is the dispatch portion.
Right here, this is it.
Yeah,
No, this is not the dispatch here. This is equipment.
We used to give them 35,000
This has
capital.
nothing to do with
That has
that other
nothing to-
35,000.
that's not
35,000 capital, and they're wanting 460
okay.
instead of,
This
the
is-
instead of the
so this is not-
35, not an addition.
Okay,
Okay.
so this, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. now.
So, no, you wouldn't add it, yeah.
No,
So we just
Not to
changed
this,
that.
not to this, but
it's the other.
the other
The
one.
other, gotcha.
It's in county.
So, this also includes an ambulance. Right? Because there was 2 years ago, they were gonna do an ambulance, they held off because they didn't need it. Then last year, they wanted an ambulance and couldn't get it because they couldn't get an ambulance. So now they say they can get an ambulance.
I thought we already had 5 ambulances.
We do have 5 ambulances, that's why I don't understand. Can we surplus an ambulance or 2 and keep 3 really good ones? I mean, because
Because here comes to the point where we talk about, and what we've been talking about, you can only spend what you got. There's not extra cash in this. This is literally an in and an out.
Yeah, one thing about it though, I mean,
but how does that lease payment work? It's like, we buy an ambulance for $215,000, but we don't pay for it all at once. We usually do a $50,000 lease or something, right? Isn't that how it?
legitimately,
When I
it's
looked at
been several years since the county legitimately, because we bought, the last ambulance was bought out of the CARES Act money, which I understand that was county money, but we haven't bought one out of the budget in several years.
It isn't gonna come out of lit public
It
safety.
don't do any good to have the personnel if they don't have anything to go with. One of the problems, I think, with the equipment is the money that is being spent on repairs because of lack of preventative maintenance.
But that's not within our budget. Correct? It's not within our budget.
There are trucks.
Unless they take our subsidy.
We gotta eventually pay, somebody's gotta pay for rear ends and whatever.
Are you saying we're not maintaining them correctly?
Exactly.
Why aren't we?
And how do you know that?
I mean, when you got a rear end going out, you should be able to hear that.
I would have no clue as a citizen, but unless you hear it, yeah, I guess.
But when I worked EMS, we used to have,
Yeah, I thought they had.
have a guy come in and kind of check for worn tires and stuff that, you can't predict everything. You can't tear an engine apart to see if the rings are going bad, but you can have somebody, it's worth the money to pay somebody a few dollars to stop in and look at tires.
Okay, here it is.
One thing and another.
So-
They don't do that.
No one from the county garage could.
I don't know, I don't think we want to put that on the county garage myself.
Cardiac monitors, is that something?
That
What is
definitely
that?
is
Can you
something.
tell me what that is?
That's what you put the patient on to see, then it can tell you what kind of heart rhythm they're in, if they're having a heart attack. That's also your device that's your AED in the ambulance.
Okay.
So,
I have another question about like a cot. Every time we buy an ambulance, why do we have to get a new
I
cot?
mentioned that, and of course Jared's not an ambulance guy, he's a great guy. But, we just bought 4 cots with CARES Act money. I don't see a reason to buy, just because you get a new truck don't mean you have to have a new cot in it. You can get mounts to fit the cots. So I think the cot can definitely be struck out of that request.
Wonder how many of the cots they have that are automatic.
I think all 4 of them are.
Okay. That's just,
Of course, we got 5 trucks, but it'd be interesting. I'm not sure how old that oldest truck is, but it's gotta be several years old. It's gotta be more than 10 years old. But it maybe they put a new engine in it too. I mean,
and like I said at the meeting, you can get a new chassis, and
they used to
use
do
the
that
body.
some.
Yeah.
But see, I don't know. When I worked EMS, we always dealt with a vendor out of North Carolina, I think. I don't remember what the brand was.
How much are we over on this, Chris?
They went,
You only have 68,577 left.
they went north
If we funded
From,
everything the way it was with
to
the
a company
salaries and
now.
all the other stuff.
I wouldn't,
Do you want, how much you need to cut?
I wouldn't cut the monitors, I'd cut the cot. I can't find my paper with that down. Let me see that in a minute.
Yeah, because I
please.
remember Kayla saying they were end of life, and that just means you can't get them worked on.
What's that? The monitors.
Yeah, they're end
They're
of
the
life.
same ones that was there when I worked there. They're the old
You tell me.
life pack 15s, I think.
You still need to cut 537,923
To break even.
to break even.
But we haven't really went through the wages either. I'm not saying that we're not gonna give a raise, I'm saying we haven't been to that yet, and that there's a lot in there, so.
Right.
I would think
I
that,
hate to even have this discussion without knowing where that's gonna go. And this, it's kinda hard to,
Well, public safety, you're gonna have to cut no matter
well,
what.
I understand that, but I mean, it's,
as much as I hate to do it,
These-
but like the Lucas device that assists with CPR,
yeah,
they're only looking to buy 2 of them.
with comfort.
That's something,
I think we can look at a grant for those from Indiana Region
Yeah, I
15.
just-
I've already asked about that.
I just think it's
We'll see.
something, that's 39,000 that can be cut. And the reason I'm saying that is because we haven't had them in the past. If you only buy 2 of them, you're not gonna have one on all 4 of your primary trucks.
I think it's 2 just because they would
Cost of
keep them on the
cost.
2.
All right, hold on.
I think they would keep them on the 2 that are on the road. Yeah.
I mean, but still,
And I think we can look at a grant for those or something.
and that's laryngoscopes. I don't understand why they'd buy 3. I don't, but I know it from in the past, back when things was good, better financially, and the ambulance was working more in the black. There was times where we would buy 5 of something, 1 for each truck, and then 1 for the ER.
If we can get at least at the 50,000 like we did
So I don't
before,
know
we
if
can
that's
do
where the
215 up front.
3's coming
Cut
in.
that down to-
And I'm not saying it's necessarily terrible to have one ER, but if ER wants
Every
one,
year
I'll
for
still
5
need to
years.
buy
They've done that before. I don't think they're requesting
it.
215 all at once. I think it's.
No,
gonna be
they
broke down.
request me, they send a P&L, what they call a P&L report. We had a discussion about this earlier at the year, because I thought they were just submitting their budget, and that was actually their invoice. So whatever their loss is each month, I cut them a check for until there's no more money.
Well, but I
Like-
mean,
like
this
they're
is
out of money.
This is capital. So I'm curious about the ambulance. They want 225 for an ambulance. Before, they broken down ambulance lease payments, 50,000 a year. If we're doing that, that's much different than asking me for 225 right now. That would cut that way
It
down.
depends on how you want to do it. If you want to lease or buy it outright. And to me,
Well, I
you
mean,
don't have to do the lease.
And
Well, absolutely.
when
Even to
Jared,
consider it.
when Jared made his
if it's
presentation,
necessary, yes.
he acted like they had found
It's a demo.
a demo. How long is
Yeah,
that demo gonna be available?
I don't know.
Yeah, but we need to know if we can do a lease, because
Everything.
225 versus 50,000 a year, we can do incremental.
We can lease
I mean-
anything. We can go through any bank and get a lease. Or a
I mean, it
payment
would just
plan.
help.
Basically, it's called, they call it.
It would help us
leasing.
get
It's a
an
loan.
ambulance, but not at 225 this year.
But yeah, some companies do the financing also. But
What if you just up the equipment from 35 to 50? Or up the equipment
To
from
85,
to 85?
if we could get the $50,000 lease, that's what we need to know. Can we get a?
It's
what's-
at least 50,000.
Well, that's what it was before, but it looks like the ambulance went up
it's
to
gonna be a little,
225.
it's gonna be a little over 50.
The way
And
I
then we
look
wouldn't
at,
have to buy a cot if we don't have to.
the way I look at this capital expenditure, you really only would have to have 2 of everything. You wouldn't have to have the 3 and 4.
2 to be on the road
2 to be on
at
the
all
road.
times, yeah.
Yeah. That-
Unless they
I-
wanted to have a third one for a transfer vehicle or
That
something.
cardiac
If we could get
monitor,
2 on the road at all times,
If,
that's the goal.
I think you've got. to
3 is
buy
great,
4.
but 2 is,
You've got to buy
necessary.
4 cardiac monitors.
I don't know how we're gonna fund
Well, I mean,
even one of each.
I mean, we've got 5 ambulances, what's in what equipment is in those
Right.
ambulances that can be reused? Just because you're buying a new ambulance doesn't mean
Yeah, the
that-
cost-
every
I
bit of,
agree.
every
I
bit
agree.
of the equipment that we reuse.
then why buy anything new other than an ambulance?
Well, the cardiac monitors is
Not a-
because the
Public safety. or-
monitors are going
I wanna
bad.
know about the lease. I'd be okay.
And the,
If we absolutely have
the
to have.
diagnosing has gotten more sophisticated.
You're working with
the-
669,000, there's not a whole lot
It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be more sensitive to
to be
picking up
spread.
life altering events.
So
What'd you say?
And then
Those are
monitors
only
are old.
669,000 to be spread out. It's not like 669,000 just for this,
Yeah.
this.
No, I understand.
So
I'm just saying-
669,000 is not a whole lot. So
I'm saying if
these are all great things.
If an ambulance is absolutely necessary, then we need to surplus the ones that are not necessary. I'm not saying we want 2 on the road at all times, I'm not saying only have 2. But if we have 5 and we can have 4 and have 2 backup or 1 transfer, then we need to do that. We need to, we're,
Yeah, I think we need to
this
scale
cost
back.
of maintenance and all this stuff on these things to just sit is ridiculous.
I think we
So
ought
in
to
a
scale back to
crisis,
4 trucks, 2 at each station,
I would want
because
my
of our
people to have
personnel.
it.
Like you-
That's
The
operational.
CMAQ, that just helps you put it
This
to
is
But I
a
mean-
budget converse, you know.
Do we
So
think,
you can
I
help
mean,
them bring
are you guys,
It makes it easier.
I don't know what a lease payment would even be.
Yeah, I don't think that
I don't know that.
I
the
think
lease
this is
payment would have had to been worked out before
That's what
now.
I'm saying. That's stuff that needs to be talked about before budget timing. Right now, you've
I'm
got
not sure.
669,000 between this fund to spread out.
So do we just set aside, 60,000 for a lease and say, if you can get a lease, we can get a 60,000 towards it, and if not, we'll just put it right back in and we'll figure it out next year. I mean, that's what we have to do. There's really no other option.
You can do that.
I would like to
Still
do,
might have to cut.
I understand, but I
don't-
would like to do that.
Okay, so you're.
And then request that they surplus the ones they don't need, because we don't need to keep just having these things. And use the equipment that we have on the other ones. If it's still functional, it's okay. Just because it's not brand new doesn't mean it doesn't work.
So do we want to put this at 95 or what are you talking about?
I think that we
I mean,
we add the lease back in
Yeah.
at 60.
Right.
I
And
agree.
I think the equipment, as much as I hate to do this,
We
is
can
we
try to look for grants and get
We
Region
go-
15 to get thumpers.
we go
and-
back in hospital foundation maybe.
Yeah, we can,
We go back to drop it to the 35. The
So
cardiac
you're gonna do the
monitors like to work.
60
That's why I
and the
said
35, or are
95.
you gonna do the 60 in place of the
plus
35?
the 35.
60 plus 30 is what they're saying. 95,000.
Let me see your list again, Kevin. Sorry.
Because I don't think we have to have a cot.
I don't think we,
Instead of the 460 or whatever it was, 490,
I mean, having EMS personnel does no
No,
good if your
460,
ambulance is gonna work. I don't want them to be in a situation where they're breaking down or, I think we have to keep that up,
I don't know where the
but we need to surplus the
station, I
ones
don't
that
know where
are.
this station
necessary.
furniture goes. There's not room for
No,
south stations.
I think we cut that out.
I think.
I think we have to be intentional in telling them what to do with,
Mhm.
the 35, because I don't want the cot. I mean, I don't want them to use it to go buy a new cot when we have all these other cots.
That's the reason I think we could leave it in the, I would rather see the buy the lower engine scopes.
95,000 then for
that's what I said.
Mhm.
equipment.
Good.
60, that'd be the lease.
Okay.
What about the rest?
And then if we can't get a lease worked out, we can just put it back,
So that puts you at a number of
save it
241,000.
for next
Am
year.
I right?
To go
Yeah.
towards
Make sure I'm right.
That's what I
So
have.
you cut 3, so here, let's see where we're at. We're at 3,669,552.
God, I hate to do that,
Then you've got 282,307,
but-
365,500, 47,603. You guys are still over on PSAP 258, 250. Sorry, not 25. Ooh, you're only over 25,858. Let me check that number.
No,
That looks way too good. Okay,
Surely.
I think I got this one. 282,307,
We'll take that.
We'll go to lunch on that.
365.
Not on the money. Don't get me wrong. I meant on a good note. Don't take that wrong.
watch that, yeah.
Oh, is this what I need? On a good note, what I should have said.
I forgot this last page. I did the 47, I added a cut instead of a.
Come on.
You
Yes,
said it,
good
so
news.
you're all, you gotta figure it out.
They got paid for it.
Take it out of your budget.
And subtract that from 669. 669,552.
Wait a minute, what's this ambulance service? Oh, that's, okay, it's all good.
195, 999.
Did you do that? That's not what I got. So, okay, we're doing this opposite, okay. 282,
We could list it like that, maybe. Dispatch
307.
services, 86,000.
241.
I don't like that. Maybe you think it's something else. It should say subject.
318,
Oh.
Subject. I don't want it to
668.
say dispatch services. It can say political.
81975.
That's not all going on, it's just 35.
Right.
Can we change those? Names?
841,975.
I assume.
How do we change the phone name? Who does that? Auditor's office?
Well,
We don't need to say
841,975.
that one did.
And then we take that total plus, and then we're gonna subtract off 669,552 minus,
35,000.
you still got 172,423. Is that what you got? 172,423 left to cut out of PSAPs.
what all funds are
We're
you
getting
including
closer
in
to the
that?
end of our headway.
Our PSAP,
Are you including the three local
Sheriff,
income tax, let's say, and
commissioners,
then
and
911 and the local income tax PSAP?
911.
PSAP is separate. That doesn't come in that.
Okay. That's right, that's the
That has its own
345.
tax.
This is just your lit public safety, which is your sheriff, commissioner, and jail. Is all divided up between that. And you'll get estimated 669,552. And you're over budget 172,423.
And we don't know what's in there. I mean, do we'll have any extra end of the
We
year.
do.
Well, we do, but we don't know what addition, what is,
We
you know.
don't do additionals out of there.
Will they try to transfer it out though, somewhere else?
Mm-mm.
I see a lot of transfers at the end of the year sometimes.
Not out of these. They
Okay.
can transfer
Can you see where we are to see if we might
Yep.
have a surplus?
for equipment. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because this is for a one-time,
Cause that would be helpful.
because I actually had that. I had it up. Pulled it up.
Oh, actually, didn't we,
So,
have
We're
a
gonna-
budget for an ambulance lease last year? Yeah, and they're not using it this year, so put that next year.
So that rolls in.
Hey,
On general,
Chris,
yeah, can you work on that?
look, right here, we have 50,000 set aside for ambulance lease, so let's just scrape that over to next year and only do 10.
Gonna what?
We have 50,000 set aside right now for ambulance lease, and they're not using it because they don't have one. So take that off the 60, and we'll only need 10 more. We'll just put that back over next year. It'll be a
It
surplus.
doesn't roll. It'll just go in the cash value. It won't, there, you don't,
What do you mean?
you don't redo a budget.
We ain't gonna, we're not gonna redo it, but we can consider it for next year that it's not gonna be used this year. So
Right.
we'll just,
So it's gonna
instead
be
of
in the
doing
cash.
60, we'll do 10,
Okay, so here, let's see.
right?
I see what you're saying, yes. So lit public safety, we are projected to have an ending cash balance of 480,441.
Why do we have that? Surplus?
That's what we're.
What?
It might have to do with the, does that have to do with the supplemental distribution?
I bet, no, that doesn't go in there, that goes separate. Total cash revenue.
I mean, if we're budgeting 50 this year, we don't use it, and we want 60 to lease next year, then just take this 50 this year, let it expire, use it for next year, and we only need 10.
But you still have to budget it.
You still have to budget it.
Because it goes
Your
back
budget
into
amounts don't
your-
carry over, so if you have if you're budgeted 50 this year and you don't spend it,
It's gone.
it's gone.
It's going, it goes back to
It doesn't, your budgets don't carry over. Now, the cash does.
And what do you do with the cash? What can we do
The
with
cash stays in the account. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna end, there's gonna be a ending cash
Well,
balance.
then
If
how do
we
we grab the cash instead of being strapped to the whole, I mean.
That's what I've been trying to
think you wanna
explain
do
to you
that.
this entire time. There's a cash
Okay,
balance
for
in
that?
there.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at it this way with this one. What can we do with the 50 that's unused this year? Can we go ahead and pay it out this year? 50 and just say, we're gonna give you 50 towards a lease and you're gonna need to use it, work out your lease next
Because we
year.
had it
Can we do
budgeted.
that?
Yeah, so you can take 50 off of, so what you
I mean,
could
we're
do.
not really we're already budgeted for it this year. So can we just write them a check and say at December, whatever, and say, here's your 50 for next year. Go get your lease or whatever, or tell them to get a lease, you know what I mean? Can we have them work out a lease between now and the end of the year, pay it now,
Here's your 50
and
for
only
your
give them
lease.
10 next year?
Commissioners 40.
Makes sense, David?
No,
Why?
came from you.
Whatever we gotta do to,
Yes, we have 50. So if we cut that, so we budgeted 50 last year. So
For
if
this
we,
year.
for this year, sorry. We budgeted 50 for this year. We could go ahead and, that's already, give them that 50.
even in December, and just say
Mhm.
that
Say,
is
here's
for
your
next,
50.
and then we'll give you a 10, we'll budget 10 for next year.
You're exactly right.
Why
Yes.
not?
Yes.
Okay,
But
then
I'm
what, then I'm
saying-
not really
I'm
technically.
just saying, if you
I
don't
know.
expend that,
I
if you
know.
don't get
Well,
it
then we need
out,
to get it out.
it doesn't carry over.
Get it out in December.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
So that would release,
All we need is 10 then, that's all we have to budget for next year.
very, very true. Yes.
So there's
Innovative
50,000.
Budget,
Huh?
innovative.
No, that's what we should be thinking for some of this.
I'm a little confused.
So we budgeted 50
There's
this
already
year.
50 sitting here right now for a lease that's not being used because there's no lease. So if we take that 50 and pay it, say, in December until the hospital, or between now and then until the hospital get working on a lease for next year, we'll pay you 50,000 in December, still in this budget, because it's already sitting here. Then we only have to pay 10 next year because we want 60 total next year. And it'll take 50 off what we just set aside. We set aside 60 next year. If we give them 50 at the end of this year and 10
Just do it
next year, the same thing.
38,700. You're
Will they use it for that?
Between now and then, we need to tell them. If they're not gonna use it, then
50
forget
is
it.
budgeted this year, so if it doesn't,
Then
if
forget
it's
it.
not spent, it just goes into the cash value.
And we need to
cash
have that
balance. It just
conversation
stays
between
there.
now and
So if
then.
we go ahead and
work on
cut
a
that
lease.
50 in 2023, then to them, then we only have to expend 10 if you're wanting to give them 60 out of 2024 budget.
And
So that cuts
here's my other
40,000.
question. Can that excess be used for that 250 next year?
Out of public safety, yeah.
That 400, we need 250 and I'm not worried about.
The
where we get-
380 cash balance, yeah.
Huh?
The cash balance.
Well, it's an unexpected, unbudgeted thing, so.
Okay, so we do
It's
that,
different
then
than-
what's the bottom line on this one?
All right, let me change it real quick. So ambulance is gonna go down to 10, ambulance lease, so we're gonna do 35 and 10. So that's gonna go to 45.
191.
Basically, we're giving them the same thing. It's just part of it in December and part of it. But we need to make
Since
sure we
they
get on
didn't
them
use
right.
it this year,
We need to
then
make sure we get on them right away and say, we want you to have a lease next year. Because if
Okay,
they don't
so-
have that worked out by December,
So
we
bottom
can't.
line now is 191,000.
Yep.
Right. Need a motion on it,
Yeah, right.
That's all of it, isn't it? That's all discussion for this.
I mean,
Yeah.
that cuts it down to what, 122?
We've got to go back and do sheriff because we didn't redo social security on sheriff.
Okay,
She's
but-
working on that right
but-
now.
Well, public
right
safety
now.
commissioner,
David, why can't
We're
we
done.
do that? I don't know, why not? Just tell the hospital, go ahead and work on your lease for next year, pay them in December, 50, and that's
we
what
got,
we
we got this appropriate part.
Just do it, don't let it just keep
And
going
if they
up.
don't get,
Okay, we gotta move along.
That's their
that's
fault.
not good.
So we're at 191
I
Right.
think they are.
We're not-
Yep.
We can't encumber.
for the public safety
We
commissioners.
put encumber too. You put
Okay.
encumber too. That's the same difference. Okay, motion for 191.
So moved. I'm sorry. Dave.
Motion by Paul, second by
Second.
Gail, all those in favor? Of the local impact
So it's
state
one-
commission,
our
191,000.
Okay, we're doing that real quick. Let's go back. We
122.
gotta go back to county sheriff
70.
lit, page 36. And Kelly's gonna get us numbers for that because we didn't redo social security when we took out that 10th deputy. So that's gonna give us even better numbers.
So social security goes down to 8901 for a total of 278,964.
At the very bottom or that total?
That total's the same, yeah.
Did you do the holiday pay?
Okay. And I got 278.
Insurance.
No.
Okay, so 278, 971.
Insurance.
Oh, no, if they figured it
How-
out.
how do you know?
Then yeah,
Take
I'm sure they
$13
do,
off.
surely. Surely they figured it in.
964.
What about your group insurance?
Yeah, that should go down.
This is 278.
If they budgeted that twice.
We
that
would
should go
divide that by 11 and take one off.
down. Not 11.
Divided by
No,
11.
2. There's only
No.
10th and 11th there.
but we're only taking away one.
We're only taking away one out of this
So
budget.
you divide it by two, right? There's
That
only
was all
two.
the group insurance out of this
No,
one.
we're talking about the group insurance.
I
This,
am.
this group
Oh, okay.
insurance
There's
right
only
here.
two officers. Last year there
by
was,
two.
last year, well, why was it 31,000 last year when these two are new?
Cause you had your lieutenant.
Oh, the deputy, yeah.
You have three in there.
Well,
This
doesn't-
includes, so it will be divided by three, correct? Divided by three.
Well, it doesn't really make sense if it's 31,785 for one, it should be times three, and then that number's not right.
There's not really a percentage or anything you can do for group
Cause
insurance.
you don't know if they're taking it,
Exactly.
so divide it by three then.
When you divide it
Your
by
guess
two,
is a guess, basically with insurance.
I would think you divide it by two.
Cause there's
But
not.
there, it's including the
set amount.
lieutenant
It's three.
and 10th and 11th
So a
deputy.
third of it needs to go
Yeah.
away.
Okay,
Okay,
I
17.
see you now.
I think we do. Okay, so did we do that for that
I
new
still
jail
was
person?
wondering,
Did we do that
Yeah.
for the jail person?
So-
Take that out also.
Yeah,
You're,
I don't think we did.
but that is budgeting for three.
but if you go by what was budgeted last year, that doesn't, if you divide that by three, that's less than 30,000, and you have 31,000 from last.
So we have no clue where they came up with that number.
Okay, so basically, just take the worst case scenario, the family plan at 27,000 premium, right, or something around there.
Well, we got life and all that in there.
Okay, 30.
And that's the thing with insurance, it's.
I know you
hard
don't
to-
know, but we have to plan, so just plan on them all 30,000 apiece.
You'd have. I
So
go
then we can
35.
take 27,000 out.
So just be prepared next year, at the end of the year, you
I would
possibly
do
have to ask
70.
for additionals for insurance.
I would do 35,
Yeah, it is.
35.
Well, we're removing that
But
whole
it's the
deputy.
same thing though. It
But I
doesn't-
mean, on all, when you look at all
Right.
different budgets, if you do this same kind of factoring, just have in the back of your mind, there's a possibility people are gonna have to come back for additional
But
appropriations.
what if
if
you
it's not-
leave it in here? Isn't it still the same thing?
It's just gonna be excess.
It'll be excess to stay. You won't have to come back for additional.
But why would you need additional?
If you don't budget enough,
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. There's a lieutenant and there's a 10th and 11th.
Uh-huh.
We're removing the 10th because it's already somewhere else paid for. So if we're saying a plan is on average $30,000 a piece and they both take it, that's 60, and we got 87.
That's on our amounts currently. We're not gonna know what our amounts are for
Till
next
October.
year until October or November.
Okay,
And there's
so
a
split the
possibility of
difference.
them going up,
I'm sure they will.
yeah.
So split the difference. Would that be,
I mean, I can figure however, I'm just wanting you to keep that in the back of your mind as a possibility.
and that's if both take a family plan, but we have to plan for that.
Right.
We just split the difference.
I'm having a hard time, if you don't make a change here, aren't you just budgeting something?
You
that's
don't
not-
need.
You don't know anyway?
right.
So what's the difference? When you're
I
looking at
would-
two
what I-
and you're looking at three.
Would you split the difference and just, for the increase, and just take the third one,
Right,
instead of
but
taking
three.
it off, taking it in half?
I do it, I divide it by three, what I would do for right now until we get the
That's what
numbers.
we're
and
doing.
It's
then if
just
we
what
have
she's
to-
saying, not accounting for any, but we don't know, we haven't accounted for any increase in any of them, really.
I think we
I mean-
able with taking a third out.
They
We
requested
did.
a 10% increase in insurance. When we sent out budgets, we requested that they do a 10%
But those,
you
nu-
did?
but the number they're asking for isn't a 10% increase. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, this number isn't,
I think you take 27,000.
You take a third of it off.
My point is, if you don't change this, you're dealing with that figure. If you take one away, you're dealing with the same figure. It's just either three, you have to deal with two. What's the difference?
The difference is,
I mean, in coming back or whatever for a different program, why would there be any difference in looking at that? Is what I'm saying. If you keep all three there, or if you just have two there,
they budgeted the exact same amount for jail too.
so they have a set amount that they're putting for
They
a
budgeted the
full-time
exact
person.
same amount in jail, which I have no clue where they're coming up with that
to
number.
me, if you're taking one away, then you take a third away and you're in the same place. If you keep them all there.
Yeah, that's true,
What's the
because if they truly figured in a 10%, but I think they're actually a little
I
low.
mean, it's simple.
Yeah, that's low, cause
If
10%
they're low.
All
would
gamble.
be 95.
They're not, they might be taking.
Hey,
they
quick
might be
question,
taking a
on this
family plan at
insurance-
25 instead of 30.
Group insurance, you guys budgeted, you budgeted 87,921 for the sheriff lit, for your lieutenant, your 10th and 11th. And then you also budgeted the same amount in jail, which would be for your jail commander, your jail officer / matron which is 1, 2, 3. Where did you get that number? Yeah, because it doesn't add up. It's not 10%. That's why we were trying to get the number. Because we can
roughly 30,
So
That'd be
you're
right.
saying they're a
That's
little
what, that would
less?
be about right.
a life insurance, roughly 30 per
That's what I was
person.
thinking.
So you're saying this is a little
With
less
the
what they're
10%?
projecting?
No, that's not with the 10%.
Or what they're budgeting, you're saying they're a little less what they're having?
So 33.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So that's why you're saying you may have to come back.
I got you on
to get
speaker,
that.
just so you know.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
So
I just turned it on.
If it's 30 and they're requesting a 10% increase, we need to do 33, so it's 66 instead of 87. There it is. That puts in 10%.
Right, roughly.
Just do that. I'll do 66.
I didn't realize
Okay
you were
with
saying what they had here was not actually enough. That's what you're
Oh,
saying.
no.
Okay.
I say we do
Because
66.
I thought this was the right amount.
But
So
you
I
also
think
need
why
to do
don't you
that
just
to
take a
that
third?
jailer you cut out. Yeah.
Additional jail officer at the bottom.
Otherwise, why we just have this?
29,307 as a
Yes.
individual group insurance. If I divide the 58,614 in half, it comes to that 29,307. And
You'll have to increase
I think I based it
because
off
they have more
of
people.
maybe a 10% increase from
From
last year? Okay.
We're checking it out.
All right, we'll look at this and try and figure out what we're doing is we can cut one, we're trying to cut on PSAP and we're only needing each
And yeah.
account
and they don't.
or line item is budgeting for 3 insurances and we're only gonna need 2 in each. Does that make
Do the
sense?
30 plus.
Cause we cut, okay. All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
I know, pretty closer guesstimate would be 30 plus 3.
So,
So you're gonna have to increase that one if you're doing that same kind of factor in.
okay.
We need to make sure we get to probably have that conversation for next year, with everybody, really. Here's what we need you to figure in for your insurance, so everybody's not different.
Yeah.
That'd be a good idea, Colin.
Okay, so what are we doing?
Still just a guess, but it's close.
So we divide, what are we doing, Kelly? Cause we're gonna have to refigure all this.
That's what I was just telling her, we can put 66 here, but we'll have to go back to jail, and you're gonna have to increase. So it's all gonna come out, one way or another, it's not really.
Okay, well, let's get 66 here, let's get one done. So then we're at,
But next year, we should take, I think it would be a good idea to take what the family plan is, add in whatever the anticipated increase is, because we won't know because it's in October, and ask all departments when they're doing their insurance to use that amount, for.
What are the increase?
we get 257,043.
The problem is, they're using 29,000. What are other departments using for their, per person? What are they using?
It should be
Everybody
the same thing.
Everybody should be, right, but,
But if you do that, not everyone's going to take
well, they know though,
the plan.
maybe.
Okay, so this one
individual
So
stays
you're
the
always
departments-
gonna
same.
budget more than what you're ever gonna need.
Well, the individual departments know probably who's, I don't know if they can ask, but I don't know.
1, 2,
Then
3.
you can't tell them. You can't
I
tell them.
don't understand why.
No, I mean, they
the
can
county
ask and they don't have to say
Yeah,
we have
private
insurance so we can
businesses
budget it,
Can tell their,
They're full-time, it's fine, they have
supervisors.
insurance.
that their people under them need to get in for their insurance. I mean, how's that not a HIPAA violation, but y'all say that it's a HIPAA violation to say how many people are on a single plan and. I
No,
mean,
that's not.
We can
say
say
that.
numbers, we can say numbers, we
It's
just
not
can't say
names.
names.
Numbers, not names. That's
Yeah,
right.
we can say numbers, not names.
Hard to budget for that thing.
Yeah. So what are we doing on jail? Are we keeping
I
it
guess
at the
just leave it.
87 or? the 87, or are we doing upping it to 90?
Changing.
Which one are you talking about?
What about the sheriff? I'm
I thought we were
still
on
lost
sheriff.
on the sheriff.
I thought we were doing 66.
36.
36.
36.
Page 36.
Page 36, I thought we were doing 66,000 for group insurance.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, so that puts that total at 257,043. Cutting 85,722.
But if we do that same formula, we have to do it at the jail,
That's what I'm saying. That's what, okay?
and it'll be an increase. Okay,
So if we do that, that's gonna be,
that's okay, but it'll get it a better in the right spot.
Okay, do we want to take a motion on this now, or we finish this one?
yes.
I would entertain a motion
For what's the
for
total?
the
I'll make the
257,043,
257,403.
no, 043,
257, 256.
wasn't it?
257,043.
800, 80.
I got 250.
Kelly, you made the motion.
I got 257.
No, I thought that's what you said.
No, 257 is what we're doing.
Who made a motion?
Kelly made it.
Kelly made a motion, Paul seconded.
Yeah.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. That's limited, bring it to 257,043.
Okay.
Locally in Texas.
Now we need to go back to jail.
Go back to Ken.
Probably all of us. need
Jail.
That's
33.
All right, Mr. Earl.
We need to up that to 99, am I correct?
Got to figure all that.
You've got 1, 2,
I might need
3, 4 people.
But
If
we're not doing
33, 4 people.
Where do you
it's-
get 4
You've
people?
got the matron, you've got a jail commander, you've got a jail officer matron. and
We're
you
not
have
doing the jail, well, we got, are we doing one then?
So that goes to
Son of a
132,000.
So it actually goes up. But we have to,
Four.
I mean, realistically,
Why
that's
did he
the
have it like
truth.
that? Did
Are
one of
you
them not
sure
have
that he ain't got a
insurance?
budget? You sure he ain't got a budgeted somewhere else?
Are you sure
No,
they're
these
not,
funds
they're not
come out of
taking it?
this one.
Are you
I think
sure?
someone's probably not taking
I
insurance.
think somebody's not taking it and they know that. I think they're counting, they count it.
I think we leave it alone.
Who all is this?
I think we have to.
Can't mention names, David.
I mean, I can tell you what those.
Here, this is how, here, listen, I got it.
I think we should figure it the same way.
Hey, Precious. On the lit public safety,
An officer down there.
how many,
And they-
not names, how many numbers of employees is this, are you budgeting for insurance on lit public safety? County sheriff, because you have includes 10th and 11th. So was that 87,921 for 3?
We just don't know how many employees. We just don't know how many they've included. There's not enough.
With public safety, so we'd have to cover the insurance on the matron, the jail commander, the jail officer matron.
Oh, so you're looking at jail, right? Not sheriff?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jail, okay.
Okay, so historically, if my memory serves me correctly.
No names.
No names.
No names.
No names, no positions.
No names.
nothing else.
If my memory serves me correctly, the group insurance that we had budgeted there, if there was if there were more employees than there were group insurance, then the previous councils took it from the commissioner's salary, I believe. No, the commissioner's budget, rather.
Okay, that's not, okay.
What I have done is if we asked for new positions to come from any of the lits, then we would automatically put the group insurance there so that the commissioners wouldn't, so their budget wouldn't be affected by it.
So in this lit jail, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees being paid out of here. But we're cutting, or your request had 5, but we're going to 4. Is that 8791 based off of 5 employees, or how many is that based off of?
In my notes, I have it listed as 2. So
2,
yeah.
what I think the other 2, so let's take that new jail officer out of there because we've already struck it. So
right.
If we go back to just the form that was provided, 2 of them were covered from this fund, and I think 2 of the employees are actually their group insurance was covered from the commissioner's budget.
So this would just be then, you would just need insurance for 1. Is that correct?
Under commissioner's list.
With this, this 87, if we got rid of
We don't have commissioners.
There's no
anymore.
commissioner insurance under lit.
Remember, it's all split out into the departments.
When you
so
look here,
there's
it's
not
not
gonna be
there.
a fallback anymore.
Remember,
Oh,
right here, there's none under commissioner lit.
Or
Because
it's in Commissioner General, the million. That's what the Commissioner General is.
we really need to try to get it out of the right department though.
What?
But-
You're wanting to break up insurance like I did Social Security and
I like
retirement
it,
and all
yeah,
that.
for everybody eventually, but that needs to happen. So
So
next
the,
year,
I
for
think
sure.
the reason why 2 of them are not paid from the lit public safety was because they were,
Originally paid out of Commissioners.
yeah. So the matron and the jail commander were.
So what I'm asking is if we're cutting the jail officer matron from 2 to 1, do we need to leave this at 87,921 or can we cut it in half?
I'm trying to find this 87 that you.
Group insurance, 87's right under retirement.
Okay, on mine, on the form that I on the form that I submitted, I have the number 2 in parentheses beside group insurance. That's just a note to me saying that only 2 employees from this entire, and I had 58,614.
I've got 87,921. Are you looking at jail? Yeah, you had 87,921 on both of them.
Let me take a quick picture and make sure that
Are you looking at your 2023 budget? Look.
No, let me just take
Okay.
a quick picture and send to you. And then you can say, yeah, that's the right fund, or no, you're looking at the wrong one.
Okay.
I don't want to be wrong. Let me send that to Let's see if that's the right
How did that get changed? Yeah, I've got on yours at 56.
And if my memory serves me correctly, the matron and the jail commander were paid from the general fund many, many years ago.
Okay.
When the lit fund came along, to free up money from the general fund, we moved those 2 positions to just their salaries to be paid from the lit fund. And since they were already established employees, we kept wherever they were taking their group insurance from, they continued to do that. So you won't have to pay retirement and group insurance on those 2 positions from the lit fund because they were already established. I'm assuming from the
So we
commissioners.
just need 1. This isn't the same accounts as
Not really.
He's got, I think it's the sheriff
Commissioner.
You need to go to jail.
Insurance. That's the claim.
Okay. All right. I think we got our answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He's got 58,614.
He's got 58,614 on there. How much do you want to budget for each? 33 each. Okay, so this can go down to 33.
What?
Group insurance?
Lit public safety jail,
Why does that go down to 33?
because he's only adding, that was for the two,
But I mean, we're gonna take it out of the commissioner's reserve.
no, some of them, if they were all okay, so what he's explaining is in the very beginning, when they had employees, they were paid out of the commissioner's general group insurance, okay? And then
That we're putting $1 million in now.
that we're putting $1 million in right now. If they've added employees since then, they have had to take on the responsibility out of these funds for the wages and the group insurance. So only one is being paid out of here, plus the new jail officer matron that they're asking for.
But
So we scratched one of the jail matron officers, so that would leave one.
But in 2022, it's 63,000, in 2023, 52. That still doesn't really make sense why we would keep the same amount and go down. We would, you know what I mean? They're on track to spend their 52 this year. That doesn't really add up.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. I think there's,
I think you need to do it maybe at least 2 there, leave it at 66.
66. All right,
He's been paying.
I'm
for
good
two,
with that.
I don't
I think he's
think,
been
I don't
paying for
think,
two, hasn't he?
I don't think fully 2, but
Right.
yes. Almost 2.
Okay, so if we leave that at 66. Okay, did we do the other one? We did the other one at, we did the other one at 66 too, correct?
That's just a reserve.
Okay. So,
66, is that what you said?
Right.
The same as the other.
mhm.
That would be a 30,000 family plan plus a 10% increase, which is 33. But there's 3 employees here.
Some of them are paid out of commission. What'd you get?
We need to correct that.
What'd you get?
We don't do that.
This is another line item. No.
263, 747.
No, I don't want to do the 87.
What do we want to put that the group? Leave it as is or change it?
So about change it to, so about the group insurance, change it to 660,
So leave it at the 66.
66.
I worry about that, but.
We
if
just
the-
had a 15-minute conversation.
If they are,
of wasted time over it, because we had it in there.
okay, but next year we need to get them all.
I will break down like I
Yeah.
did the social security.
And everybody can have the same rate plan on the group plan with the 10% increase.
Absolutely.
296.
That'll help us, but,
Yes.
you know, next year.
Say that, Kelly.
296. 296, 747.
So that is a cut.
Oh, you're on, I'm on. 96, 7.
747, with the airplane. That's the one they can't find, though.
It said, oh, something.
69,524, yes. Okay, so then we've got 457,043, 415,500, 296,747. Do that right?
No,
I think I did that wrong. I did the cut. I keep doing that. I gotta start highlighting these. 191. 296,747. Just a little bit.
That $577.
That came from a 6 minus 669,552. So we're still over 75,238. As you show. 669,552.
Maybe it's 726.
Uh-huh.
So 662.
669,552. Oh, I see.
98,806.
Nope, I got 75,238 three times.
I'm so much.
And these are the totals you have. For sheriff, 257,043. 191, 296, 747. Yep. So you still have 75,238 to cut from PSAP, or you can use, or you can use,
Or we'll look the wages and see what we're
Yep.
gonna do there. I mean,
Yep.
that's
yeah,
it.
we don't have to
I think
decide yet.
When you say, what did you start to say, Chris, as far we could use?
You've got 380 cash balance there, because some of it's you're not using as wages, you're using it as equipment.
We may need the 250 of that for next year for PSAP. We can use it for that. That 250, Steve said we're gonna have.
Remember, we talked about special legislation, our option there, where we pay something out of special legislation to free up money otherwhere for the 250. So there's definitely options with the
I wanna
250.
talk about that.
Yeah.
In a minute, whenever.
So I think you did good on PSAP. I mean, you're just short.
But we
We haven't really done wages yet.
That's right.
So PSAP doesn't look bad.
And that's just the first go round. There could be,
All right.
I'm cutting over a million, that's what it is.
Make sure we, $66. All right, we got 15 minutes
Do we
for
want
lunch.
to pull some of these little small ones like?
Special legislation.
Can we do whatever y'all want. Keep moving.
I need that
This one.
ordinance or whatever it is. What,
For special legislation, I haven't got it yet.
Which one, Jay?
we did, but I'm just talking about
Oh,
looking at what it says it can
do
include.
you want to look at June Bridge?
Bridge and reassessment, then we can, that's other levies that will count towards the general.
What's that? Which one is it, David?
26. What?
No, I don't have it.
You don't need to look at that.
Steve did. Steve discussed it.
That's true.
Maybe you're remembering that.
He, actually, the first one, there's only one change, the culverts, 60 to 80, 20,000. Engineering,
That was the only change.
it doesn't mean, yeah,
I forgot what he said about rental lease of equipment. What was that?
Okay.
I mean, $60,000 is a lot of money. If we just buy it and do it on a lease program, then we don't have to lease it.
I think he said that that was in case he needed to purchase the equipment or something, wasn't it? Or if he needed a new
I can't remember,
I
but
thought it's some earmark, so you want to get it.
something.
And if this goes through, you can pick it up then.
well, if it's one piece of something, I would rather do a lease program,
Yeah.
a payment thing.
I mean, anything's-
I'm not sure this isn't a lease, piece of equipment he's wanting to lease.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
See, in 21, he spent 80 in this, and in 20, almost 30 in 2022. So I think
Nothing this year, so.
Nothing this year, and evidently,
Can you see what's been spent? Can you get in there yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so see that rental lease of equipment, 39,300.
Okay.
Can you see what's been spent out of that this year, Beth? And like, does it tell what it is?
Well,
Can we do the
what
creative
it is.
accounting?
What is it?
I don't know
like
if
we did the
you'll,
other time,
It doesn't show you the invoices.
end of the year, you
not
get
if they
60,000.
haven't been scanned. We didn't start scanning until July.
Well, they didn't, since
We're gonna have
June,
to
there was
reach-
no
We're gonna have to
expense,
reach out to him on
or
that.
July, so maybe it did.
Can you call out
Right now, they haven't used any.
County Highway
I'm
Garage
sorry,
and
they
ask
used
him
it all,
to
60,000.
refresh our memory,
But you can't
please,
see what it
Chris?
is.
Yep.
Like, can you see the invoice since July?
Have they used it
But we
all?
budgeted
They used
What's
it
the
all.
highlight number? Do you know off the top of your head?
When did they do that?
I'll text my phone.
That's true,
If they didn't do it before July,
And
it's just
that,
their
yeah. I think
scan.
21,
That
22.
big, that new room over it's getting, that's come out of the ARP. Got that 300 or whatever.
The rest of all the same.
You have it in that, thing I sent you.
Oh, I do?
Yeah,
Yeah, good deal. Hopefully it works out.
just do a search on,
Oh, no, my bad.
8433232.
Understand, cash ledger. They're standing from the cash ledger, maybe because I don't,
the search.
That's.
I can't PDF.
You can't see it.
PDF, I can't search a PDF
Yep.
like
That's what
that.
she said.
Oh, my
I
computer.
always do.
Hey, Steve. Are you okay if I put you on speaker? They got a couple questions.
It's not a spreadsheet, it's a PDF.
I'm going to
That
spreadsheet.
lease of equipment is, we paid Duracos for building our bridge for his equipment. That's what a lot of that is.
You paid it this year already?
Did you pay it this year already?
Yes.
And what's next year?
This is planned for next year on it.
That's planned for next year?
Yeah,
What's that amount?
I'm showing 60,000.
60,000, okay.
Okay, what he just said is either they paid it this year or it's for next year.
I'm confused right now.
He already paid 60,000 for this year.
Did you already pay 60,000 for this year, Steve?
Request 60 for next year.
For what?
We built a bridge and we paid it out of
Okay.
this year's budget. This is
Okay.
for next year's budget, to build another bridge.
Okay,
The
Right,
60s to build, okay.
so it's another,
so they'll need it.
You said you already spent it.
And then the culverts for 80,000.
it's just that it's not reflected on here yet.
No,
That's on, okay.
Is
So
there
actually,
anything
there's
else?
You said a bunch of bridges.
no change there, I don't think.
No, I don't think there's anything you can do there.
yep, no change.
Like you had a lot of bridge inspections last year, so.
So them bridge inspections are pretty pricey.
I guess we're done with it for now.
All right, I think they're done now, Steve.
Stay available.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Okay, we need a motion.
Motion made.
I'll
Motion by
second.
Paul, second by Stan. All those in favor of the Keweenaw Bridge remaining as requested at 376,900, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. We'll go on and look at property
Reassessment.
reassessment,
What page is that?
27.
What's next page?
There's actually no change in it from last year.
What is that?
Do you have questions of what an item is? Maybe,
Mindy's here.
Can you tell us about that, reassessment? The 83,736.
What about, that's a statistical reassessment contract with Tyler Technologies.
Okay, when is that up? That
This
contract?
is the second year.
it's a
So
3 year.
it's a 3-year?
It's
4
3 or
years.
5 year, 4
It's
year.
4 years.
Okay.
And it used to be sporadic, and then we changed it, so we
Where it's
budget
equal.
almost the same amount every year to make it easier for
Yeah,
budget
it used to
time.
vary, you know.
Yeah, because it used to be like 71 year and 120,
Right.
depending on the area that we were reviewing. So we're making it consistent.
The postage, was that new last year? We didn't expend any in 2022 or 2021.
Was that for Form 11?
We set that up several years ago for Form 11.
Do you plan to send those out next year?
Nope.
We can delete that, I guess. Although I do think it is good when they're sent out, because I think it gives people a heads up for the upcoming year, what their value's
It
going up. so
confuses
they can-
people more than it helps them.
Well, I see it as a benefit personally for
Most
me.
people are not arguing their assessed value. Most people are arguing their taxes. So
Okay.
by sending out that Form 11 and not using the tax bill,
Okay.
the Form 11 is a year ahead of time. So if I send out Form 11s, your appeal process would be this year.
Mhm.
By not sending Form 11s, it's next year when you get the tax bill.
But it doesn't give them a heads up on what it's gonna go up.
Not necessarily, because you have no idea what the tax rate's gonna be.
Their assessed value.
The assessed value, but
That's-
most people aren't arguing their assessed value. 90% of people that file an appeal are appealing their taxes, not their assessed
I
value.
think it's a benefit to the public, but that's your decision.
Just being honest.
We do have like,
We,
I think 8
we-
counties I've received from every
yeah,
county.
I get them,
But Terry,
contacted several that haven't.
DuBois County did not send out Form 11 this year, I don't
If you
believe.
look on the, DLGF
I have to check,
website
that's
for
one of
the,
them.
for this, there's very few counties that don't send them out, but
You're not
we can
required
remove
to.
the 4,000.
You're not required, no. No, you're not.
So we want to remove the 4,000?
Yeah.
Most taxpayers were upset because when they got their tax bill, that's when they were ready to appeal, but that would have been for the following year. So that's why I alleviated the Form 11s to make it more user-friendly for the taxpayers.
So all we recommend doing is removing the 4,000.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
The rest of
That's
the same.
fine.
If the contract's for 4 years, we have to at least do it for, through the length of the contract.
Mindy, could we, delete some of that office supplies? The 4,500?
Do you want to cut it in half? That's fine.
It looks like in 2023, you only used $374. Do you have something you're wanting to purchase for 4,500? I mean, why was the increase?
My copy machine, like I said yesterday, is 5 years old, so it may be fine for 10 more years, but I don't know. So I'm just trying to not have to impact it all at one time. If I can carry some there and then have to do an additional for the difference.
Is that a Hoosier Business Machines or one of those come service that? Have they said anything about it being?
No.
You don't have anybody that services your,
I don't know. That's
or they
close.
do, Hoosier Business Machines services your copy machine, or they don't?
Hoosier Business, it's in that service agreement.
So basically, if we go to 2,000 on your office supplies, you'd be okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I said that's not half.
No, it's not.
We're better judge, better negotiator than you thought.
It'll take him a long
It's
way.
inside the levy, but it can only be used out of my office. So, I mean, you can cut it and that's fine, but it's gonna help in the overall levy funds.
I mean, if you needed a new machine,
That's
we can always
Excel,
revisit it
yeah.
then.
The software contract is with Excel. And that was a 5-year,
Is that the one
and
that
we are
doesn't,
on year 3, I believe.
is that the one that doesn't talk well with Lao?
Pardon?
Is that the one that doesn't necessarily talk well with Lao?
Yeah, there's a lot of manual, yeah.
It's getting there. There were just some hiccups that,
So we're on year 3,
Oh, I
you
didn't
think,
even have
with
it.
this? Will this be year 3 coming up of
So
the
we have
contract,
two.
you think?
To take off.
2024, I believe it would be year 4, actually.
One 22, 136.
Okay.
We're still using our brains. It keeps us from getting Alzheimer's
Part-timers.
or timers.
You ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Keith, second by Paul, to approve the property reassessment at a adjusted amount of 122,136.
Okay.
Thanks, Mindy.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thanks, Mandy.
All those, okay, now we'll call for a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
And motion to recess for lunch.
We want to recess, or we want to get one more?
Is it a tough one, or is it a long one, or is it, you're gonna give us a
Where
short
we
one?
going, King Cat?
No,
No,
no.
we probably just need to.
Let's go to lunch.
That's a
Motion.
motion.
Make a motion to go to lunch.
My
Is there a
wife is
second?
fixing lunch for me. It'll be
For
cold.
everybody?
I don't get that.
How much did we cut out?
We'll be right there.
Second.
$2,000,
Motion by Keith, second by Paul, to adjourn for 1 hour. We'll be coming back at 1.
About one.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
My
carries
truck
7-0.
starts. When the truck don't start, I'll be about 10.
Okay, is that what happened yesterday?
Let me know.